For the Fordham Rams, Thanksgiving starts early. And while there will be plenty of time for feasts and blessings, Fordham must first set its sights on victory. The Rams have made the trip down to Daytona Beach, Florida for the Sunshine Slam. And amidst the sunny skies and blue water, stands one team ready to darken their day: Penn State. Ace Baldwin Jr. and the Nittany Lions are undefeated, and they're looking to keep it that way. If Keith Ergo wants to get the better of his former team, he'll have to shut down one of the top offenses in the country. It's Fordham and Penn State. Day one of the 2024 Sunshine Slam, live from Florida on WFUV Sports. The Ocean Center in Daytona Beach, Florida, our site for day one of the 2024 Sunshine Slam, and we've got a good one. It's the Fordham Rams versus the Penn State Nittany Lions. Lou Orlando, joined by my partner Chaz McAdams. We welcome you to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports, and this one, Chaz, the Rams have had this one circled on the calendar for a while, not just a trip down to Florida ahead of Thanksgiving break. It's one against a Big Ten opponent, their first opponent in the Big Ten since 2014, and an undefeated Penn State team at that. This one has all the hype, all the excitement going in.
I mean, Penn State has exceeded all expectations this year so far. 5-0, one of the highest scoring teams in the country, one of the highest steal rate teams. They protect the ball. They know how to play clean, efficient basketball. These are two teams that like to play with a lot of energy on different ends of the ball. Penn State likes to push the ball as much as they can, get out, go get running, go get some buckets in the full court, like to shoot a lot of threes. Fordham likes to play a lot of full court defense, make you uncomfortable in the backcourt, make your inbounds very difficult, and make you pay for sloppy basketball. It's a tale of two conflicting ideas down here in South Florida. I couldn't be happier to be with my broadcast partner here in sunny Daytona Beach, Lou Orlando.
And the storylines couldn't be more ample. Keith Ergo coached at Penn State for 10 years. Abdu Timbila spent his freshman year there. There's a lot going into this one. Fordham at 3-3. Penn State looking to stay undefeated at 5-0. Lou Orlando, Chaz McAdams, we've got a good one for you here from Florida, a 4 p.m. tip, and we'll get you all set for it. Before we do, Chaz and I caught up with Fordham men's basketball head coach Keith Ergo. Lou Orlando, Chaz McAdams with Fordham men's basketball head coach Keith Ergo. Coach, Penn State, your former stomping grounds. Any special feelings coming into this one?
No, you know what? Not really. I've been asked that a lot. The reality is, it's so far removed, almost 4 years. 5 years now. So, you know, the reality is nobody that we were there with is still there, right? And I love Coach Rhodes. I've admired him for so long. Him and his staff are fantastic. Obviously from VCU, I've known him a long time, and really impressed with what they've done. Really happy for him, his family. We have a lot of ties to State College, but honestly, there's no lost feelings or anything like that. Again, new AD, new staff, a lot of new people. So really excited for what they've built there, though.
Yeah, Coach, obviously, like, non-con gets broken up a lot with these Thanksgiving tournaments, and it kind of turns into a tale of two halves in your non-conference play. So how important is it, especially against, like, Power 5 opponents with a team like Penn State? You know, they're leading the league in steals, and their percentages are so high. Just how important is it for this team to really end this half of the non-conference with some momentum?
Yeah, you know what, momentum it's an interesting thing, right? But, you know, for us, all we're trying to do is continue the process of getting better, learning to trust one another. You know, we've got a long way to go with that, and we know that. We've got a bunch of really good guys in our program, and our locker room stays tight, and, you know, they're not happy with some of the results that we've had, but obviously, you know, we're right there, and we're continuing to work as hard as we can. Our goal is to be the best team we can be by the end of the year. And we always talk about just trying to get 1% better. And, you know, I know it's not the outcome all the time that people would like, or certainly we would like Friday night against Drexel. But we got better in that game. We did a lot of really good things that, you know, we improved on. And then we made a lot of mistakes, a lot of mistakes executing, especially on the defensive end. And, you know, that's what we do really well and have done for several years. So we know what we have to clean up. Now it's just about trying to learn how to trust each other, stay connected, and really get to know one another. And MTEs are really a great opportunity. When you travel with your program for the first time and you're spending multiple days together, you're meeting a lot, you're eating all these meals together, they're in their rooms a lot with different roommates and teammates. You really start to gel on these trips, and that's why I'm really excited about this one. It comes at the perfect time.
You'd harped on some of the defensive issues against Drexel, and you go against a Penn State team that up and down the lineup, they've got scores. They're one of the best scoring teams in the nation, Power 5 transfers. Specifically, what do you need to do to hamper or knock down an offense like that?
Yeah, we have to take care of the basketball. I mean, most of their offense is in transition. Ace Baldwin, in my opinion, I think he's the best point guard in the country, or certainly top 5 for sure. He controls the pace of every game he plays, not just on the offensive end, but the defensive end. He's electric. He's been electric for a long time, since high school. Kid just knows how to win, and he controls the pace of everything he does. And as a result, they feed off of him on both ends of the floor. So, we have to take care of the basketball, and that allows us to set up our own defense, which we believe we can create some trouble for them as well if we're connected and we're talking to each other. And so really taking care of the basketball, and then keeping them off the offensive glass. If you give them an opportunity for second chance points, they love to kick the ball out and hit threes.
Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck tomorrow.
Go Rams.
Back with you at the Ocean Center, the 3-3 Fordham Rams, the 5-0 Penn State Nittany Lions. And you heard Coach Ergo mention the name at the very end of that interview. Ace Baldwin Jr., that's going to be the best player on the court for both sides tonight. Might be the best player that Fordham plays all season long. Spent 3 years in the A-10 with VCU, so they know him well. Transferred over last year to Penn State, was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. One of the most dynamic guards in the country. Coach Ergo said he thinks he's the best guard in the country.
Yeah, I mean, what can't Ace Baldwin Jr. do with the basketball? He likes to shoot it. He pushes it in transition. He creates for himself. He creates for his teammates. On the defensive end, the way he's able to rip the ball not only out of your point guard's hands, but in the passing lanes. He's a leader, a disruptor, but also an offensive assassin. Ace Baldwin is the gemstone in the crown of this offense. But I think some of the unsung heroes in this offense, you're looking at your bigs, your rollers. The way this offense is constructed, they have a lot of freedom. Yannick Niederhauser is an absolute beast, one of the biggest athletic freaks in the Big Ten Conference. And then you got Kachi Inza, a great big here for Penn State. The Nittany Lions have an offense that can fire on all cylinders for 40 minutes a game. Their conditioning is unreal. The Orlando, the question is, can they get the ball in their hands enough? Because rebounding has been an issue. If Matt Zona, Jaden Smith, Abdu Tambila lock in on the glass, I think they can make the Penn State Nittany Lions very uncomfortable, which is something they have not been in their 5-0 season so far.
Well, you talk about a hot start for a Penn State team that was picked to finish 17 out of 18 teams in the Big Ten. They've surprised a lot of people. It's a 5-0 start. They lead the Big Ten in scoring. That's second in the nation. They lead the Big Ten in steals per game. That's also second in the nation. So it's a dynamic offense. It's a dynamic offense that wants to work quickly. Honestly, you see a lot of parallels from the pace that Fordham plays and the pace that Penn State plays. The only difference is Penn State does it at the level of an excellent Power 5 team that has the size and the talent of a Power 5 team.
From the field, they shoot 52.3%. From three as a team, they shoot 38.9% as a team, Orlando. That's an offense that's cheddar, not Swiss cheese. I'm talking no holes in that dynamic offense. And frankly, I think that Penn State hasn't really faced a test yet. Tomorrow, the winner or loser, depending on how this game goes, either way is a tough test for either of these teams. Clemson, San Francisco, two teams that I could see making very deep tournament runs this year. So the question is, for either of these teams, being Fordham or Penn State, how do you take this game and take it into tomorrow? You have to play these 40 minutes, but also know that in less than 24 hours, no matter win, lose, or draw, you're playing a powerhouse. I think Fordham can catch Penn State looking too much far down the road and sneak away with a win with a few quick jabs from the three-headed monster. Jackie Johnson, Will Richardson, and Jaffe Medor. That Zona has been quiet all season. He's due to shoot some threes. Abdu Tambila, it plays up to the level of his opponents. The matchup with him and Niederhauser is going to be one for the ages. This is going to be an exciting game in Daytona Beach at the Ocean Center.
Well, You're getting me amped up, and I think Fordham should be amped up as well. Because you think back to their last game, Friday night in Rose Hill, a day before they head out to Florida, and they fall flat against Drexel. They lose by 2, had the chance to tie at the buzzer, and Jackie Johnson III came up just short. That was a Drexel team, and I think you can make a case, a little bit of a measuring stick for the Rams. One of the better non-conference teams they were going to play, not on the level of St. John's or Penn State, but one of the better mid-major teams Fordham was going to face, had an electric defense, and Fordham got off to the good start, but unable to play the complete 40 minutes, and that was something that Trey Woodall and Coach Keith Ergo both mentioned to us. They're still looking to get connected and play the full 40, and that is really going to be stressed against a Penn State team that is not going to give you much room for error.
They are not going to let you get any breathing room whatsoever. They push the ball no matter what. Conditioning is key here. You come down to Daytona, you've traveled, you haven't played a basketball game since Friday. Speaking of Drexel, we just saw them play an opponent that I think gave Penn State the best run for their money so far this year in the Purdue-Fort Wayne Mastodons.
Just beat Drexel
getting the
right
victory
before us
over
today.
the Drexel Dragons, who Fordham saw on Friday. A lot of parallels in college basketball. It's magical. How can you not be romantic about this sport?
How can you not be romantic about basketball? We'll get into the starting lineups for the Fordham Rams. Jaffe Medor, Jackie Johnson, Will Richardson, Ramon Dean, and at the 5, Abdou Timbila. This is the second game in a row with this starting lineup. Matt Zona started the first 4 games of the season. Now it's Timbila for a second straight night. Timbila, a preseason all-defensive team, and a former Penn State Nittany Lion. We said, we talked to Coach Ergo, he said it's not a revenge game for him. Maybe it's a revenge game for Abdou, and either way, a chance for him to get settled here in the starting lineup again.
Well, you got to think about the player versus coach mentality. Coach Keith Ergo was there for a job, a 9-to-5, a salary. Abdou Timbila came from Cameroon, put his blood, sweat, and tears into basketball, and didn't get the opportunities that he deserved at State College. Then he goes to Fordham, becomes, as you said, preseason all-defense. He's the center, the 5-man, the hero of this Fordham team in many games. The game-winning dunk against North Texas. 9 blocks versus Tulane last year. The year before, the hero of that Tulane game, the biggest non-conference win in that magical season that Fordham continues to try to replicate. So the mentality is much different. Maybe for Coach Keith Ergo, he doesn't see any familiar faces, but Abdou Timbila looks at Navy and White and sees a program that didn't trust him as the maroon and gray did. Abdou Timbila in his number 30 with those gorgeous Fordham grays on is playing not only for Fordham, but for the name on the front of the jersey, but Abdou Timbila today is playing for the name on the back. And that, when you see that from a 5-man, that's when you can see a triple-double with blocks. That's when you can see over 10 rebounds in a game, because Abdou is playing with heart, mind, and soul today for the Fordham Rams at the starting 5 spot.
For Penn State, the starting lineup 1 through 5, Ace Baldwin Jr., the point guard, one of the best point guards in the nation. At the 2, it's the Tennessee transfer, Freddie Dillon, the 5th. At the 3, all Big Ten honorable mention last year, Zach Hicks, an electric 3-point shooter. At the 4 and 5, Puff Johnson spent a few seasons at UNC. At the 5, you mentioned him earlier, Yannick Conan Niederhauser, 7 foot 250 from Switzerland. Penn State team that has a lot of size. We talk about the talent. They've got height up and down the lineup as well.
Yeah, I mean, this team is lanky, which is not what you can say when Fordham runs that 3-headed monster guard in the starting lineup. But Fordham, again, I think just hoping to make Penn State uncomfortable, see if the press works, and just playing their game. That's what Coach Keith Ergo has harped on all year. We don't change a lot based on our opponents. What we do is we try to play the best 40 minutes of Fordham basketball we can.
Well, here's the tip between Niederhauser and Timbila. Niederhauser 7 foot, Timbila 6'9", and Niederhauser wins it for Penn State. Penn State in navy, white striping down the sides, and white lettering. Fordham in all silver with maroon text. Hicks, right wing, pumps the 3, steps up for the elbow, 2, and buries it. An early 2-0 lead for the Nittany Lions, opening 15 seconds.
A lot of quick basketball, and the Nittany Lions going into their press. They want to put Fordham away early.
We heard Coach Ergo talk in practice. He modeled a lot of what he does here after what Penn State used to do and what they currently do here under Mike Rhodes, the second-year head coach after 6 years at VCU. Fordham touches the ball for the first time today. Medor pressured by Dillon, the 5th. Crosses the timeline, opening 30 seconds. The Lions lead 2-0. Bounce left. Jackie Johnson double teamed. Now guarded by one, swings it over to Timbila on the right side. The handoff for Richardson at the right wing, 8 on the shot clock. Here's Medora in the corner, shovels down low for Timbila. 2 on the shot clock, he fumbles with it and it's stolen. Penn State comes away with the turnover, and Fordham's first possession comes up empty. Here's Ace Baldwin Jr. at the top of the key, swings it over to Hicks, fakes, step back to Baldwin Jr. open for 3 off right iron, and Dean the rebound. Richardson on the right wing, hesitates, stops inside the three-point line. Kicks out to Dean. Fordham offense will slow things down. Jackie Johnson at the top of the key, the A-10's leading scorer with 19 points per game. Looks like a foul off ball called on Penn State.
Yeah, Yannick Conan Niederhauser, I think just going a little too hard on the double there, trying to hedge on the pick and roll defense and getting too much in the face of Jackie Johnson Jr., who's getting a lot of contact as he's taking the ball at the top of the key early as Yannick checks out. Quick. Again, another thing we didn't harp on enough about Penn State, they run a serious 10-man rotation every game.
It's a deep rotation. In checks Conchi Inza, the sophomore forward. Opening minute and a half, Nittany Lions up 2-0. Medora off a screen, top of the key. Dribbles to his right, tries to swing into the corner, deflected by Baldwin Jr., and stays here with 8 on the shot clock.
Fordham having trouble getting the offense going a little bit, looking a little sluggish. I think that there is definitely room for improvement, but you like that they're trying to contain their mistakes as much as possible, taking care of the basketball.
Dean, the lob to Richardson, slips at half court. His feet slide behind the half court line. And backcourt violation, not the best feed from Dean. Richardson had to track it down. Just an ugly play start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, top to bottom, that bail pass is just not there. That's the hot route that you see in every baseline out of bounds play. Fordham running a press out of a sideline inbound. Very interesting. They are not going to let Penn State get any room for error. This is going to be 40 minutes of grinded out basketball.
It's a Penn State offense that has been very comfortable this season, almost 100 points per game. They've topped 100 points in 3 of their first 5 games. So Fordham going to have to make things as difficult as possible for a team. Very efficient from the field, plenty of talented scorers, and headlined by Ace Baldwin Jr., now in his graduate season. Baldwin swings into the corner for Dillion, the 5th. Dribble drive and takes it back out. 8 on the shot clock. Dean steps out to guard Dillion. There's the feed for Inza, just 3 on the shot clock. Inza swings right for Hicks. At the shot clock expires, off the backboard and in. Nittany Lions up 5-0. Tough contested 3 for Zach Hicks. Medora in transition into the corner for Richardson. His 3, Fordham can't answer. Dillion chased by Richardson. Back to Hicks, right wing. Fakes, drive, stops on the elbow into the corner for Dillion. Dillion takes it inside, back to the basket, works on Richardson, fades away. That one won't go. The rebound by Inza. He's hit hard, goes to the ground, no foul, and it's Fordham basketball.
After Timbila, aggressive going for the rebound there, not letting Inza get any breathing room is the adjective that we used all year, and the refs agree. No foul, Fordham ball.
Abdu started his first game of the season. Johnson in transition, stripped away. It stays here with the Rams. Well, Timbila coming off a season-high 30 minutes against Drexel, 10 points, 8 rebounds.
And that's why you say Ace Baldwin. That's why Keith Ergo said Ace Baldwin's the best point guard in the country, the way he's able to poke that ball away.
Baldwin chases down Johnson. Now the baseline inbound. Here's Medora, free throw line, takes the J and sinks it, nothing but net. Fordham's on the scoreboard, 5-2, 17-20 to play in the first half. Baldwin Jr., Fordham familiar with him as he dribbles the ball up 3 years at VCU. In his final year there, the A-10 Player of the Year and the Defensive Player of the Year. His feed inside for Inza, too strong in the layup. Dean the rebound. Fordham goes the other way, trailing by 3. Jackie Johnson, deep right wing 3, off the back of the rim.
Replay. The ref just whistle call for a replay as the teams head to their bench. I think the call is looking to be a foul on Romadine. Maybe
a foul on Romadine. I guess they're going to check it out.
Yeah, instant call. The ref made the call and wanted to see more, so he makes the call. it's something I don't understand. Again, I know I get a reputation for not being the biggest ref guy,
Certainly not.
in the business, but that's a move you don't see a lot. Ref making his own call and instantly calling for a replay to see. I believe the call is going to be either just a normal rebound, and I think that'll be Fordham ball on the sideline because last touch by Inza, or it's an over the back on Romadin.
So you don't think it's anything in the
Nothing on the
offensive
shot.
half court? It's on the rebound, that previous play. Inza too strong in the layup.
No. Down here, Jackie Johnson chucks up the three.
Sure.
A lot of contact going on under the basket.
Gotcha.
The ref makes his own call and then calls for his own replay.
Gotcha.
Also, something I just have to point out for the broadcast right now, mop guys. You usually see the futuristic mop for the mop. They got the big disc with the ergonomic handle going around.
Right, the mops on the floor.
The mop guys in the Ocean Center right now have classic yellow bucket janitor mops. Yellow bucket janitor mop.
It's pretty cool stuff. And we get back to the
That's
action. The
retro.
referee signaling on the baseline, so it should stay Fordham ball. I think no foul on Ramadina, but we'll see if they make an official announcement.
It's just a common foul.
Oh.
On Fordham's number 2, Ramon.
Oh, they
Just
were
a
looking
common
for a
foul
flagrant.
on Ramadine, checking to see about anything flagrant. So it is Penn State ball after the foul on Ramadine.
Yeesh.
The Nittany Lions up 5-2, opening 3 minutes of play here from Daytona Beach, Florida. DeLeon right in front of the baseline, pressured by Medor. Medor gives him a bunk, and now double teamed by Johnson III. Baldwin Jr. takes it across, drives the right lane, stops at the block, kicks out. Here's Hicks, left wing, fakes into the corner. Back up top, resets for Baldwin Jr. Baldwin, dribble drive, guarded by Tim Biela, stops on the block again, goes up, takes contact. No shot, or can't get the shot to fall, but gets himself to the line.
The initiation of contact there is interesting there from Baldwin. Again, that's why he's such a good. The up fake, he couldn't get anything going. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. It was for the Nittany Lions. Abdu, I think, on a 1-5 switch, played pretty admirable defense, not letting the best point guard in the country get by him. And the refs don't reward him for fantastic defense.
Baldwin Jr. goes to the line. He's only missed 3 this season. He buries his first. Nearly 90% from the line to start the year as the Lions take a four-point lead.
Interesting start so far, I think, in the game. I don't think the Nittany Lions expected Fordham to make them this uncomfortable. But again, tail the tape so far in the season for the Rams, not getting in a good offensive rhythm.
Baldwin Jr. sinks both. It's a 7-2 lead for Penn State. And the Fordham offense will look to heat up. Jaffe Medor takes it across half court. Meanders to his right. Now drives along the baseline. Kicks out to Johnson, left wing. Johnson's pass is deflected. Stays here top of the key. And they call a travel on Jackie Johnson. A little bit of confusion as he got the ball back. Perhaps not careful with his feet there amidst the confusion.
I don't understand how that's, again, I hate to be this a ref show, but, and again, the Fordham sideline agreeing with me with these back-to-back calls going against them. They're obviously going to do that. But how is that not a tip off of Dillion? You see his hands touch the ball.
It appeared to be perhaps touched by Dillion as Johnson faked the pass down low. Baldwin Jr. on the right wing, dribbles between his legs, spins out, Johnson pokes it away. Johnson in transition, chased by 2 men, goes up, can't make the shot, but fouled on the way up. Looked like Jordan Hicks, the man that caught up to him.
Yeah, that's a great play there by Jackie Johnson, playing fantastic defense so far as we go into the under-16 media. Love what I'm seeing from the Rams so far on defense. Looking to start to get it going on offense, get some points on the board. Nittany Lions only able to get 7 points so far in the period. Again, the highest-scoring offense in the country, not looking as comfortable as they'd like.
The under-16 media timeout, Penn State 7, Fordham 2. Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. Hey everybody, it's Lou Orlando, one of your broadcasters for Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM. Treat yourselves this Thanksgiving. The Rams travel to Daytona Beach, Florida for the highly anticipated Sunshine Slam next week, so mark your calendars. Fordham bows Penn State on Monday, November 25th at 4 p.m. before facing the winner of Clemson and San Francisco in the afternoon on Tuesday, November 26th. Both games will be broadcast live on the WFUV Sports YouTube page. Don't miss two of the biggest matchups of the season. WFUV Sports is the home of Fordham basketball. Lou Orlando, Chaz McAdams, Fordham men's basketball and WFUV Sports taking on Penn State, trailing 7-2 in the opening 4 minutes, while Penn State in the second season of the Mike Rhodes tenure after 6 years at VCU. Took him to an A-10 title, a one-time A-10 Coach of the Year, took VCU to 3 NCAA tournament appearances. So took that success, took Ace Baldwin Jr. and Nick Kearns Jr. with him to Penn State, and a solid first season. A Penn State team that didn't have a ton of expectations going into last year. End up going 16-17 overall, 9-10 in the Big Ten, and that's the most wins in conference by a first-year Penn State head coach in a really long time. So Mike Rhodes looking to take this program in a new direction and off to a really strong start. 5-0, looking to make it 6-0 here against the Rams.
Mike Rhodes bringing an A-10 mentality to the Big Ten, to a Power 5 team that wasn't really known for basketball. You know, it's all about Happy Valley out there.
It's all about the whiteouts down there.
Nittany Nation, all about that whiteout night. But, again, Mike Rhodes making it a basketball school. Man, again, you can't help but fall in love with Ace Baldwin and Nick Kearns Jr. It's all about senior accountability over there, top to bottom, everyone lifting each other up, making sure they're everywhere on time. You love to see that culture break in that you really only get to see at mid-majors, where these basketball coaches have more control over the program as a whole, less oversight by the ADs, but great overall job from Mike Rhodes so far at Penn State.
Well, he has a really strong history, turned around Rice, then went to VCU, made them a powerhouse, as Johnson sinks the first free throw. 2 for true trip. Let's try that again. 2 for 2 trip from Johnson the third. And Fordham back within 3, 7-4, 15:55 in the first half. DeLeon. Up top to Dunn. Dunn, the handoff. Baldwin Jr. off his foot. Fordham diving for it out of bounds, and it's going to stay here with Penn State. Last touch by Will Richardson.
Will Richardson's winning mentality, willing that ball screen to his way, not coming up with the possession, but you know you love to see great jerseys on the floor if you're Coach Keith Ergo.
Senior guard DeMarco Jun checked into this game along with Nick Kearns Jr. Feed down low for Niederhauser, works on Tim Biela, spins around, fades with the right hand, no good. Another rebound for Dean. Fordham trailing by 3, a chance to tie here. Johnson up top and quick whistles. Strong words from the referee to Abdou Timbila, evidently bowing down low with Niederhauser, and the referee's not having anything there.
That's going to be his second, and you hate to lose someone that important this early. You know what I mean? Not a lot of subs so far for Coach Keith Ergo. Matt Zona checking into the game, the first sub so far in the game. But again, just you can't be doing that, battling down low and getting too aggressive this early in the match. The refs aren't going to have it.
And we'll keep eyes on Matt Zona. It's been a slow start to his season, coming off a game against Drexel, season low 8 minutes, but he's battled in the Power 5, spent 4 years at Notre Dame in the ACC. Baldwin Jr. up top, uses the Niederhauser screen, weaving left at the elbow. Feed down low for Niederhauser, works on Zona, turnaround. Oh, rolls in, almost came out on the front side, but takes the backwards turn in, 9-4 Penn State. Medor picks up his dribble in the backcourt, ahead to Johnson, left wing 3. It's short, off the front of the iron, foul on the floor.
Stays here. That's going to be gray ball.
We'll stay here with the Rams. That will be Niederhauser's first, his second of the game.
And again, both like front of your program, textbook 5 guys, getting in early foul trouble is going to make for a very interesting dynamic, because both of these coaches in Rhodes and Ergo rely so much on their 5s.
Johnson to the bench. Joshua Rivera checks in. Zona gets the inbound. Gives it back to Medor. Drives inside. Blocked at the rim. Kearns Jr., but it stays here with Fordham. Rivera far block. Hops into the paint. They'll get him for the offensive shove there. Josh Rivera.
No.
Excuse me. It's a foul against the Nittany Lions, number 2, DeMarco Dunn. Back-to-back fouls by Penn State. Once again, staying here with Fordham, 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, again, like aggression down low from Penn State. They're not trying to lose the rebounding battle as they have last year a lot. They were minus 4.6 on the year.
Rivera posting up, far side. Works on Kearns, under the basket. Tries the reverse layup, no good, but fouled on the way. Josh Rivera going to the line.
Yeah, foul on Kearns again. Again, 5 quick fouls here for the Nittany Lions. You're looking at bonus, double bonus before the under 12 media. That's huge for a team that has struggled from the line so far, especially in number 5, Josh Rivera.
14:41 left in the first half as Fordham to the line for a second time already. The 15 fouls you mentioned on Penn State. Up steps Josh Rivera, 37.5% from the line this season. And short on his first. We talk about it every game, the free throw struggles for number 5, Josh Rivera, well documented going back to his freshman year at Lafayette.
And especially because his game is so aggressive. He loves to get to the rim. He loves to draw contact, and then the points just don't convert.
Here's the second from Rivera. That one no good. 0 for 2 trip from Rivera. Fordham leaves points on the board. Trailing 9-4, 14:35 to play in the half. Enza up top. Hand off for Dillion. Zona switches on top of the key. Dillion, dribble between the legs, drives left, fadeaway, 2 off glass and in. Penn State into double digits, 11 for the lead, as the Fordham offense still struggling to piece it together. Medora up top, Fordham just 4 points through the opening 6 minutes. Medora off the handoff, left wing. Puts it between the legs, stops on the elbow, takes the J. That one rolls out. Dean tips it back to Baldwin Jr. Penn State in transition. Here's Dillion. Drives through, leaves it back, stolen by Josh Rivera. Ahead to Medora, Fordham a 3-on-2. Medora to the left wing for Richardson. Back out Medora. Top of the key, Dean for 3 off left iron. Penn State secures the rebound. Fordham unable to connect in transition. Kern Jr. drives, turnaround J. That one goes the righty hook.
Baby hooks there again, just brutal for the Fordham Rams. 3 post scores in a row. You gotta ice up your paint defense.
Penn State leads by 9. Fordham looking all kinds of out of sorts on the offensive end. 13-4, 13-10 to play, nearly intercepted. It stays here with Fordham. Rivera drives left, goes up. Too strong in the layup, and Zona can't handle the rebound. Rivera botches an open layup opportunity. In transition, Dunn too strong in the lay. The follow-up by Kern Jr. and draws the foul. Momentum all the way in the favor of Penn State right now, leading by double digits and going to the line.
Again, as I said before the game, you gotta slow the Nittany Lions down. If they start to go out and run, you're hopeless for the Fordham Rams. Make them uncomfortable in the half court, make them slow down, make them use all of the shot clock. A lot of the shots, when they go under 12, under 10 in the shot clock, have not been very good. And if you're paint defense, if you know it's not going to be there, because, again, Matt Zona, as he checks out of the game, but later in the game, not known for his defense down low, you can't let them get those paint touches. If you're the Romad Deans and now the Jameer Tripps, you have to stop them before they can get into the paint.
Kern Jr. completes the 3-point play. Penn State ahead 16-4. 12:50 to go. Wild pass by Johnson ahead to Jameer Tripp, freshly checked in alongside the freshman Jaden Smith. Tripp is stripped, and it's stolen by number 5, Puff Johnson. Fordham will force the jump ball, and possession stays the direction of Fordham. But again, the Rams look all kinds of out of sorts and a little sloppy with the basketball.
And I think Zach Riley, as he's about to check in at the scorer's table, is going to bring some calming presence. He knows how to work through a full court press. He knows how to navigate an offense. He's not out there to score. He's out there to facilitate and make teams uncomfortable on the defensive end.
Well, Fordham, just a 1 of 5 start to this one. Already 5 turnovers as Rivera the baseline inbound. Lobs to Johnson, left elbow extended. Spin around, turn around, Jay in the paint. The lefty shot is good. Jackie Johnson on the board, and Fordham trails by 10. There's Kern Jr. on the far side. Smith out to greet him. Back in the hands of Baldwin Jr. Feeds the free throw line for Kern. Using the pivot foot. Bobbles for a second, now kicks out. Here's the three from Stewart, rattles out.
I think he's going to review for a flagrant there on Jameer Tripp.
Collision.
Puff Johnson falling to the ground hard. You can hear on this elevated court the echo of that smack of the Nittany jersey hitting the ground.
12:16 left in the first period as Puff Johnson guided off the court.
The previous play is under review.
They're going to review this one, so again, you're looking at a play here where already an ordinary foul, now looking to see if this is going to get taken up to the flagrant.
Yeah, the flagrant nature of, I think it's just how aggressive and like shocking the way that Johnson hit the floor was, but I didn't see much from Jameer Tripp. Could have been a little aggressive there. It's a lot. It's easy for the narrative of the referees to see. You know, you make a lot of mistakes on the offensive end. You're frustrated as a team, and you're looking to get something to change the momentum in your direction. Frustration can lead to anger. Anger can lead to flagrant fouls. So I think the refs are just looking to make sure that it wasn't of that nature.
And trying to keep this game in check. I wouldn't say that it's been chippy, but there has been a lot of fouls, and you always worry when there's a lot of fouls early of that getting translated into some fighting, some extracurriculars.
Oh, yeah.
This is already the second review for a flagrant foul, so I think the referee's taking this very seriously. You have to keep this game in check.
Yeah, and Puff had some things to say to Jameer Tripp as he was walking back to the Penn State bench. So I don't think we've seen the end of that interaction. I think that's going to be a game-long storyline for us to unpack and unravel.
I'll get your thoughts right here as they continue to review this play for a flagrant foul against Jameer Tripp. What's gone wrong for the Fordham offense? They came out shot out of a cannon against Drexel, 16 points in the first 4 minutes. Now eventually that slowed down and Drexel able to catch up, but that has not been the case today. Fordham off to a slow start, missing shots that they should make, and more than anything else, turning the ball over as they're trying to set up their offense.
When you play a team this big and you still go with your traditional three-guard offense, you gain some things and you lose some things. You gain like a lot of shooting. Shafay Medor, Jackie Johnson the third, and Will Richardson can all shoot the lights out at the gym, but you also lose a lot of mobility on offense. A lot of your cuts aren't as dynamic, and they don't draw as a lot of attention because of how much more space your defenders can take up on your cutting guards. So when you run, Puff Johnson is at the three versus Will Richardson. You know what I mean? The size difference alone on those can get you in trouble on the offensive end. So if you're the Fordham Rams, I think you have to look to capitalize more on your longer players. That's why Jafay Tripp and Zach Riley, Josh Rivera in the game right now.
So flagrant one play against Jameer Tripp.
On that for the elbow extension.
So Penn State not only gets 2 free throws, they keep the ball afterwards, and that is par for the course of the way this game has been going so far. Penn State ahead 16-6, 12-16 in the first half.
Yeah, and that's all momentum lost here for the Fordham Rams. You know what I mean? You have to make Penn State take a long time to get the shot clock, get their shots off, and Puff Johnson again just sucking all the air out of the wind for the Fordham Rams.
Johnson's first rattles in, the Penn State lead back up to 11. Good for Fordham. Lucky that Jameer Tripp only a flagrant one. He'll be able to stay in the game, but on a short lease after this as Johnson goes 2 of 2 from the line, and a 12-point lead for the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, these next few minutes as we progress into what's probably going to be the under 12 media timeout, maintaining your focus on the defensive end and finally capitalizing on the offensive end, not letting this game get carried away is key for the Rams.
Baldwin Jr. skip pass ahead to Puff Johnson at the top of the court. Hands off for Baldwin Jr. The deep right wing three bounces out. Riley the rebound. 12:05 left in the first half. Fordham chip away at this 12-point Nittany Lions lead. Johnson the third delays up top. knocked to the ground as he tries to hand off to Zach Riley. This one will go against DeMarco Dunn, the senior guard.
This game is getting aggressive.
Getting physical.
Very, very physical game so far. And I think Fordham likes those kinds of games. Fordham likes chippy games. They like ugly basketball. Yeah, dog pound, grind out wins for the Rams. You can't always just have beautiful wins like Penn State has.
The inbound to Josh Rivera, drops it, goes off his heel, and out of bounds. Immediate turnover and Penn State ball, and that time the pressure off the inbound getting to him.
Yeah, that's the kind of turnovers that Fordham would like to see later in this game.
Going the other way.
Yeah.
Clock tips under 12 minutes. Penn State leading 18-6. Dominic Stewart, the freshman, up top with Baldwin Jr. Fakes the feed down to the corner. Goes cross corner for Puff Johnson. His three, airballed. The rebound nearly secured by Zach Hicks. Had the leverage, had the box out. Goes off his fingertips, out of bounds. Fordham lucky to get that ball after the shot.
So many bodies on the floor. This game is aggressive. And again, Fordham getting the ball there. Great defense by Jaden Smith guarding the skip pass.
Down to Zach Riley. Fordham still trailing by 12. Turnovers have been an issue already, 6 today. Riley double teamed. Bounces across half court to Rivera. To the hands of Jackie Johnson. Drives left. Lefty floater. Off glass and in. Penn State. Lead cut down to 10. There's Zach Hicks. Up top for Baldwin Jr. 11-10 to play in the half. Baldwin Jr. and his former VCU teammate Nick Kerr on the floor. The bounce pass intercepted by Fordham once again. Credit Johnson the third with the steal. Top of the key, pulls the three. Off right iron, Smith tips the rebound, but secured by Puff Johnson. Penn State ball. Jarn Jr., right wing. The size advantage on Johnson the third. Resets up top for Baldwin Jr. Post feed for Puff Johnson. Great defense by Jaden Smith, and gets the rebound as well. Jameer Tripp to the corner for Riley. Fakes. Posts his way to the right elbow and draws the reach around foul from Baldwin Jr. That's his first, and more importantly, sends Fordham to the line as Penn State, the 7th of the half.
Yeah, that's the bonus with 10:29 left in the game.
And Chaz, maybe that's the lane for Fordham to get back in this game. They've been thoroughly outplayed. Free throws has been a problem for them for 2 straight years, but that is the lane.
But if that's the lane you got to take, Fordham needs a miracle here in Daytona to turn around their free throw shooting. Obviously not from Zach Riley.
Riley's first rattles out. It's a 1-and-1, and Fordham empty on free throws once again. Fordham now 2 of 5 from the line. They've missed 3 straight. Zach Hicks gets it back on the right wing. Jabs, drives inside the paint. Takes contact from Smith. Puts it off glass and in, and sends himself to the line.
Again, these defensive blunders for Fordham, the rare gaps in the offense. Again, this Penn State team still doesn't look very comfortable. They're not getting every look that they want. But the capitalization on the offensive end has to be more. If you're gonna have these fouls, you know what I mean? It's been all day. 13 fouls on the night so far between both teams. You have to start executing on the offensive end. Fordham with only 8 points to their name through 10 minutes of play. Inexcusable.
Hicks buries the free throw, a 3-point play. And the Nittany Lions up 21-8 here with 10 minutes left to play. Johnson, the feed for Rivera. It's intercepted by Kern Jr. Another turnover by the Fordham Rams. Penn State the other way. Kern Jr. at the free throw line at the offensive foul. Stumbled into Josh Rivera, but the foul on the illegal screen right before that play. Fordham gets the ball.
Legal screen there for the for the Nittany Lions rather. I mean, it's just a little too much movement. Again, this game is just so physical so far, Orlando, which is something Penn State has not seen all season. Could be the key to Fordham's victory.
Fordham, we know, and they fight opponents above their weight class. They try to muck the game up sometimes, make it chaotic. Johnson in transition, full court layup attempt, no good. Dean offensive rebound. Kicks out Rivera, back to Johnson in the corner. His three, no good. Off run iron, Smith rips the ball out of the hands of Kern Jr., and he'll be penalized.
Tough go there for Jaden Smith, but a lot of bright spots for the young kid. I think the best rim protector we've seen so far. Again, Keith Ergo protecting Abdu Timbila so far, keeping the rotations so far after those 2 quick fouls from Abdu between Smith and Zona. And again, 7 fouls on the Rams as Fordham is sending a Nittany Lion to the line.
Nittany Lions already ahead 21-8 with 9:33 left in the half, and now both teams will be in the bonus for the remainder of the first half. This is Nick Kern Jr. to the line, and his first rolls out. Live ball, Tripp gets the rebound. A ball poked away from Rivera by Baldwin Jr., staying here for the Rams, as Penn State continues to apply pressure in the forecourt.
Captain Zach Riley telling Jameer Tripp, you're a point guard, take it up yourself. Keith Ergo's heart that Jameer Tripp is a 1-through-5 guy on both ends, needing a lot more confidence. It's only his 3rd game back from injury.
Crossed double digits in his first 2 games. Tripp driving on Hicks, down to the block, spin around, lefty layup is good. Jameer Tripp does it himself, and the Rams trail by 11. DeLeon the other way. The near corner, resets up top, Baldwin Jr. Baldwin Jr. Bounce pass inside to Kern on the cut, makes the contested 2. Nice shot by Nick Kern Jr. in the face of a Ram defender. Pass deflected into the hands of Zona, gives it back to Medor. Swing left for Josh Rivera, 15 in the shot clock, 8:50 left in the first half. The Rams trail by 13. Zona fakes the corner 3, gives it back to Rivera. Long 2, his 2 rattles in.
2, yeah, it was deep. It was a deep 2.
Rams trail by 11, 8:30 left in the first half. Baldwin Jr. across to Hicks. Hicks doubled by Rivera and Tripp. Fordham in a 3-2 zone. Inza down low, out to the corner for DeLeon. Short corner, goes cross corner. Now to Hicks, right wing 3. It's short, raises the rim, the rebound by DeLeon, puts it back up and in.
There's got to be a body on someone on DeLeon there. Key player not getting boxed out. Can't happen if you're trying to get back.
Fordham struggling on the defensive glass. The rebounding number is a lot lower than you'd expect from a Keith Ergo-led team. 25-12 is the Penn State lead. Medor off the handoff. Feeds Zona down low. Takes contact off glass. It rolls in. Matt Zona on the board. Ahead to DeLeon, right wing. Penn State works quickly back into the half court. Penn State ahead by 11. Fordham sticking in a zone. Baldwin Jr. right for Kern. Back to Baldwin, open for 3. His pass knocked away by Medor. Fordham in transition. Rivera slams it down with 2 hands.
Big play there to cut the lead to single digits. Momentum going in. Next stop being the under 8 media timeout.
Fordham cuts the lead to single digits, 25-16 with 7:10 left in the half. Baldwin Jr. up top, left elbow feed. Kern drives up with right hand, wild shot, but draws the foul.
Big contact drawer, Nick Kern Jr. He knows how the refs are calling this game. He knows when they're going to call fouls, and he's using it to his advantage. His 3rd trip to the line so far in this match.
7 minutes left in the first half. Penn State 25, Fordham 16. Let's throw it back to the Rose Hill Studios. Thomas Tisdale, the one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
As in games of college basketball this week. Number 2 UConn is on upset alert against the Memphis Tigers at the Maui Invitational. The Huskies trail by 5 with 1 minute left. A battle of unbeatens tonight as number 4 Auburn faces the number 5 ranked Iowa State Cyclones in Hawaii. 2 top 12 matchups in Las Vegas tomorrow night as number 6 Houston plays number 9 Alabama. And the number 1 ranked Kansas Jayhawks take on Cooper Flag and the number 11 ranked Blue Devils at 9. In the Atlantic 10, Dayton, who are flying high after a 5-0 start, face the number 12 ranked North Carolina Tar Heels tonight at 11:30. Richmond are heavy favorites as they play Florida Tech, and St. Louis hosts the Quinnipiac Bobcats as they look to improve to 3-2. Tip-off is at 8. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Thomas Tisdale.
Lou Orlando, Chaz McAdams back with you in the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach. The Fordham Rams have cut this Penn State lead to single digits. It's Penn State still in control, 25-16. And when we talk about the Nittany Lions, it all runs through Ace Baldwin Jr. Coach Ergo called him the best guard in the country, and what doesn't he do, Chaz?
Fordham in their 3-2 defense. Ace Baldwin always at the top of the key, taking the point guard. He's been running a lot of pass fakes, trying to get the zone out of position, make them overreact, reversing the ball to the other side to his shooters in Johnson, Kern, Dillion, guys that he knows are shot makers but not shot creators. Baldwin doing a great job of communicating his offense, navigating his guys. A slow game so far from our guy Zach Hicks. Not a lot from 2-4 so far in the game for the Nittany Lions. But fantastic play so far all around. I know not 9 points so far from the line, but a lot of offense. I just think it's a slow game so far for the Lions in general is what I'm saying. And I think he's been slowed down in a margin that we didn't see versus Fort Wayne, that we didn't see versus a lot of the other opponents that Penn State saw this year. I think Fordham is genuinely making them uncomfortable.
Talk about Zach Hicks, 15.8 points per game. Leads the Big Ten in three-pointers made. He's 6'8", but can shoot the lights out. Kern Jr. goes 1 of 2 from the line. It's a 10-point lead for the Lions. Richardson crosses half court. Under 7 to play, first half. Medor off a handoff, swings right for Tripp. Still up top. Top of the key, Rivera. Meanders over to the left wing, handoff for Richardson. Corner for Medor. His three is good. Jaffe Medor nails the three. Fordham trails by 7.
Love to see that from Jaffe Medor. Now you have to slow them down on the offensive end. Make them take a shot late in the shot clock.
Ball up top for Penn State, controlled by Javin Carter, the freshman. 14 on the shot clock. Fordham still in the zone. Hicks fakes the pass, goes free throw line for Johnson, fades away, and nails it in the face of Josh Rivera.
Puff Johnson has such a nice touch at the rim from 3. He's just got a great touch all around.
Puff Johnson spent 3 years at UNC, the younger brother of Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets. He gives Penn State a 9-point lead. Rivera, near post, backs his way to the basket. Turnaround Jay rattles in, using the right hand. Fordham trails by 7, 5:45 to play in the first half. It's the freshman Carter up top. Rivera and Richardson creep up to him on the near side. Hicks feeds Johnson inside. Into the corner, Dillion for 3, no good. Richardson the rebound. Fordham to move quickly, a 2-on-2. Richardson slows down the right wing. Top of the key, 3 for Dean. Off the backboard and in. Fordham has cut the lead to 4 with 5:20 to play.
Great play all around. The Fordham Rams are winning this game on the defensive end. This 3-2 zone has been everything for the boys in gray.
Coach Ergo switched to a 3-2 zone. It's allowed Fordham to get stops and force turnovers. Kern Jr. The right elbow extended. Cross corner for Hicks. Fakes, takes the 3, and bounces out. A rare miss for Zach Hicks. And Josh Rivera throws the ball out of bounds with minimal pressure in his face. That is a tough mistake there by number 5.
I mean, that is a heartbreaker of a mistake. Heartbreaker of a mistake for the Rams. You cut the lead to 4, 2-possession game. You get the rebound, another double miss from Zach Hicks in the corner.
You don't get many of those.
You're not going to get opportunities like that again.
Rams trail by 4. Penn State the ball under 5 in the first half. Baldwin Jr. up top, Richardson in his face. Puff Johnson comes out to the free throw line. Dillion back to Baldwin Jr. Bounce to Johnson, free throw line, 2 is good. 30-24, Penn State ahead, 4:35 to play in the half.
Post entries like that is how the 3-2 zone has been getting broken up all day.
Medor feeds Dean across the timeline. Jackie Johnson checks back in. Dribble drive, stripped on the way, and the foul. Ace Baldwin Jr. with the reach, and that will be his second. Johnson Jr. going to the line for the 1-and-1.
Great play. Again, Jackie Johnson is your best scoring option on this team. You like to see the ball in his hands for the Fordham Rams. Slow start so far again. I love to see Jaffe Medor hitting that three that we saw before. Romad Dean, the utility guy, hitting threes when he needs to. Jackie Johnson's got to heat up. I know he is the best scoring option for this Fordham Rams team, and the boys from the Bronx know it as well.
As Johnson III goes to the line, that was a one-on-one matchup there on the wing with Ace Baldwin Jr. As Johnson sinks his first. That is the reigning Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, 4th in the nation in steals per game. That is one of the best defensive players in the country. And Johnson III able to get the edge on him there with a quick step.
Yeah, that quick first step from Johnson because he's so powerful. Baldwin's afraid he's going to jab and hit that step back that we all know he loves to shoot. So defenders, again, a little hesitant, sagging off him and giving breathing room, which you can't give from Jackie Johnson III.
Jackie Johnson perfect at the line once again. And the Rams trailing 30-26, 4:16 left in half one. DeLeon controls at the Sunshine Slam logo on the far side. Top of the key. Step back. At the circle, buries. Penn State back up by 6.
DeLeon on an island. Just a great one-on-one basketball player.
Medor hands off Richardson. Into the hands of Jackie Johnson III. Matched up with Baldwin Jr. once again. Rivera feeds Dean down low, and the foul. That's going to be in the post. Looks like Nick Kern Jr.
Penn State foul charge to number 3.
Another tough one for Nick Kern Jr. You know what I mean? As 10th foul on the Nittany Lions. Going to send Fordham into the double bonus. So I think the key for the Nittany Lions in this game is just going to be, again, speeding it up. The Fordham Rams have done a great job of making them slow down. This 3-2 defense has been everything for the Rams, and they're finally converting on the offensive end. Great scoring production in the second half of this first half. Let's see what they got for the next 3 minutes, 44 seconds.
Under 4 from the Ocean Center. Free throws coming for the Rams when we come back. Penn State 32, Fordham 26. It's Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports, and we send it to the one-on-one scoreboard update with Thomas Tisdale.
How's it going, everyone? Will Talent here, your New York Giants beat reporter for the 2024 season. Follow alongside me at talent_Will on X to catch all of the updates on your New York Football Giants from MetLife Stadium. With rookie sensation Malik Neighbors and big free agent acquisition Brian Burns, WFUV Sports is the place for Big Blue coverage. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. Orlando and Chaz McAdams. Fordham taking on one of their highest profile opponents of the season, Penn State, an undefeated Penn State team. But they got off to a hot start at one point, led by 13. Lead stands at 6 right now with 3:44 left in the half, and Ramon Dean going to the line with a chance to cut that lead to 4. Fordham has made the last 7 field goal attempts. This offense that looked out of sync for the first 10-plus minutes, all of a sudden starting to settle in a bit, and as you mentioned, it started on the defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, the zone defense has been everything for the Rams. The only hole in that zone defense has been post entries for Puff Johnson. He cuts to the middle, acts like he's going to screen, stops in the middle of the cut. You either have Baldwin or Kern out there with the entry pass to the free throw line, and then he's been getting to work on guys like Tripp, on guys like Josh Rivera. Again, if Abdou Tamila is not in foul trouble, I don't think those post entries are able to happen because such a damning post presence. So I think you got to play Jaden Smith in that 3-2 zone. You got to trust that he's going to be able to recover on the corner threes with the skip passes when you go from the wing to the opposite corner, as we saw Zach Hicks missing 2 of those shots, which caused Fordham to get the momentum going. But for the Rams, it's just about maintaining this excellence on the defensive end and knowing that eventually it's going to translate offensively.
You wonder if Fordham content even with the defensive out there, to allow some of those post feeds instead of the three ball that we know Penn State is so good at in favor of Ace Baldwin Jr., Zach X having success from beyond the arc.
Yeah, 3 is more than 2 at the end of the day, but I still think Keith Ergo is striving for perfection.
Oh, Dean off back iron on the first free throw.
Just a tough go at it from the line for the Fordham Rams so far today. 4 for 7 on the day.
That'll be 4 of 8 on that miss. Here's the second from
5 for
Dean,
9.
nothing but net. And the Fordham deficit at 5. 3:41 to play in the half. Baldwin Jr. cross to Kern Jr. as they cross the timeline. Miscommunication between Baldwin and Kern. And the pass goes behind him. Kern was cunning. Fordham gets an easy turnover.
And I think some of the struggles for Fordham on the defensive end with those post entries is that they're still going into their press as much as they'd like to. So translating between defenses is very difficult because it's 2 very different mentalities.
Here's Johnson with a full hand of speed off the inbound. Backs away from the paint. Medor left wing. Kicks back to Richardson. Jab. Hop. The lob for Dean under the basket. Up with the left hand. It's no good. And the rebound Hicks. Great look for Ahmad Dean. Just couldn't finish inside. Baldwin Jr. hesitates. Drives. Up with the right hand. It's contested. And no good. Medor grabs the ball. His baseball pass intercepted by Dillion. An ill-advised play by Jaffe Medor. But they're going to look at something down here. That was a hectic play.
Again, the 3rd replay called by the ref. You see the ref signaling that quite early and lying in wait, I guess. I think it was a pretty clear Jaffe just trying to save the ball as much as he could. Thought Josh Rivera was going out on the seam, going for a fast break dunk, and got it right into the hands of Dillion. So I don't really know what they're looking at unless something happened under the basket, but I didn't see much.
The shot itself looked clean. Baldwin hangs in the air. Richardson a clean contest, and then ball gets loose in the corner, and that's when it kind of gets tough to see. A mad dash for the ball. Medor's the one that looks like he saves it, and then the hectic pass across half court that was intercepted. It looks like Penn State ball at the half court line.
Yeah, I just don't know what that review was for.
Either way, the call stands. Dillion to Baldwin Jr. This is Hicks on the left wing. Baldwin Jr. gets the pass back, drives, and draws the foul. That will be 1 and 1. Will Richardson the foul. Baldwin going to the line.
A down ball screen attack in a 3 zone like that is so money for the Nittany Lions. I mean, great play all around there because you have your guy on an island basically because the 2 other guards aren't really in help position because they're so far spread on the wings. So if you have your big in Hicks setting that down screen for Baldwin, you can easily jam him up and either cause a foul or you're going to have a wide open floater, or the 2 bottom guys in the 3-2 converge and you kick out to your shooters in the corners.
Baldwin sinks his first. It's a 6-point lead for Penn State, 33-27. Clock at 2:50 will resume after the second free throw. Baldwin goes 2 of 2 from the line. 34-27, a 7-point lead. The door controls up top. Rivera, free throw line, drives in, righty floater, no good. Dean wrestles the ball away, but it's picked up by Baldwin Jr. Fordham unable to capitalize on the offensive glass. Corner, Puff Johnson drives baseline up with a left hand, no good. Follow up from Enza, gets the shot and draws the foul.
Some struggles here for the Rams. Again, I know. I'm trying not to see by, but you see Ramad fall, right? So then it becomes kind of a 5-on-4 situation. So Rivera goes to contest that puff layup and is absolutely bodied by Unza. Unza just absolutely wrapping out, not even letting him get position for Rivera to contest. Puff smokes the wide open layup. And then Unza, because he wrapped up Rivera and Dean is still on the floor, is wide open for the putback.
Enza makes the free throw. It's a 3-point play, and all of a sudden Penn State back up by 10 with 2:25 left in the first half. Fordham really has not done a great job on the defensive glass as Penn State's gotten a few extra looks. There's Medora left wing, swings right for Johnson. The deep straight on three, no good. Dean goes up for the rebound. Can he save it? He does. It's tipped and secured by Penn State. Another missed opportunity for a second chance by the Fordham Rams. Baldwin drives on Rivera. Stops on the block, kicks out for Hicks. Drives middle, fade away from the free throw line. That one's good. And a foul after the fact.
Score the bucket for Hicks for Penn State.
Foul on
I think Dillion.
Freddie Dillion. Yeah.
The
Push from behind.
The basket counts. Penn State's up by 12.
After the
Fordham,
shot goes in.
A chance to get the points back at the line as both teams in the double bonus.
And if you're the Fordham Rams and you want someone shooting free throws, it's Jackie Johnson. Or maybe Jamison O'Toole. He hasn't missed a free throw all year.
Jackie Johnson, 70% from the line coming into this game. Perfect 4 of 4 from the line today.
And you love Johnson's ability to draw contact. He's just, it's mighty.
First free throw rolls out. That's the first miss for Jackie Johnson, the third. The free throw woes continue. That's 5 of 10 on the day.
You don't normally see guys that small able to score on all three levels, but Jackie is a master at the rim. He's able to convert so much off the window, and then obviously his three-point shooting and his floater game in the mid-range is great too.
Second goes. Penn State ahead by 11 in the final 2 minutes of half number 1. Baldwin off the Enza screen, swings it left. Dillion met by Johnson. This is Puff Johnson backing his way down the far side, spins around the Medora, the fadeaway goes! Pretty shot from Puff Johnson, 13-point lead for Penn State.
Again, Puff Johnson's touch is unbelievable.
A member of UNC for 3 seasons prior to joining Penn State. Dean at the free throw line, drives in, stripped of the ball, it stays here for Fordham.
Playing on both sides, that's a great swipe on a up fake from Romad Dean. Puff Johnson has been the hero of this game so far for the Nittany Lions.
Puff Johnson, 8 points, 3 of 6 shooting. This is his second year at State College. And he's been a welcome addition for the Nittany Lions. Ramad Dean checks out, Zach Riley back in for final minute 15. Medora drives right, kicks to the corner for Tripp. Tripp drives inside, his kick out is intercepted. But a foul called, looks like on number 5, Puff Johnson. And that will give Fordham another chance at the free throw line. You can't say that they've really taken advantage of their opportunities at the line, but they do keep getting those opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, tell the tape. So far this how many times are we going to talk about this narrative? About Fordham, so aggressive, so many physical guys that love to draw contact. If you're going to be that way, that play style, you have to be able to convert. You have to lock yourself in the gym. You have to make your free throws. How many games did they lose last season based on those metrics?
It was something that Coach Ergo talked about. Think about how many games came down to free throws. He had the team working all summer long on free throws. It has not translated yet. Tripp goes 2 of 2 from the line, 4 points today for the sophomore. Fordham back within 11 with 1:05 to go in the half. The pass intercepted by Tripp. Jackie Johnson takes the mid-range floater, bounces out, gets his own rebound. Up again, the lefty float. That one goes. Fordham back within single digits here, 41-32.
Remaining in the press, trying to stay strong, but playing it safe.
Johnson, the trigger man. This time the bounce. Finds Baldwin Jr. Back to Puff Johnson. Crosses half court. And a foul right past the half court line as Jackie Johnson closed him off. Jaffe Medora was there as well. And with both teams in the double bonus, that will turn into 2 free throws for Puff Johnson, who's already had quite the day.
Yeah. Puff Johnson, I said this, he's been the hero, but an interesting Nittany Lions team stat, 1 for 7 from 3. Their lowest percentage so far in the year, if it continues. You know, I said they're almost a 40% shooting team as a team, which is ridiculous. Puff Johnson, 0 for 1 from 3 on the day.
Puff Johnson will go to the line here. Really haven't taken a ton of threes the last 10 minutes with Fordham going into the zone. And Johnson buries the first free throw, the lead back out to 10. $41.3 3 seconds left here in half one. Johnson second is short. The lead stays at 10. Riley across and calls timeout.
Calls timeout.
37 seconds left and 27 on the shot clock.
So 2 philosophies here, and when you got 37.6 left, especially if you're crossing half court on the timeline. Either you're looking for a catch and shoot, so forcing Penn State to use a whole shot clock on your end, you get a nice little 2-for-1, or you develop a play that you want a guaranteed bucket, single digits, and then you bank on being good on defense, which Fordham has been in the second half of the first half, so that they can go and go into the halftime break still with a single digit lead. So you're either going for a 2-for-1 or you want a guaranteed bucket.
Fordham, watching the season so far, has not been great off inbound to start the season. Really their quickest play that worked a success.
Especially in this situation right here.
You know, Jackie Johnson with 7 seconds left against Seton Hall, that ended up being the game winner. Even that play took time to develop, so 37.6 seconds left. You got about 4 or 5 to put the shot up so that Penn State would get the ball back and still have a chance for one last heave. We really haven't seen Fordham work successfully quick off of a sidelines inbound this season.
Now's the time to change. We're in Daytona. New venue.
Zach Riley will inbound in front of the Penn State bench on the far side. He throws it back to Medor in the backcourt, so Fordham will delay here. Medor takes his time, 20 on the shot clock, as he dribbles on the Ocean City logo at half court.
Drawing out the shot clock here.
They move with 10. Johnson over to Riley, back into the hands of Medor, left wing, 5 on the shot clock. It's Johnson near corner, 4 on the shot clock. Medor left wing, doubled, has to heave up the 3. No good. Rebound pulled down by Rivera, goes back up, and no good again. The final tip, that might have gone off of Penn State. Either way, it's points on the board for the Rams. Johnson intercepts the inbound, but he's out of bounds. It stays with Penn State, and the clock expires on our first half.
Yeah, that's gonna be a full clock expire. Lucky for the Fordham Rams, no bucket going on the scoreboard so far, but that's looking to be 34-42. Official on the website, 34-42 for the Fordham Rams. Again, so it was the second option, you know what I mean? You just wanted a guaranteed good shot. You love to see the offensive board there from Rivera, someone you normally see good fight from, but you love to see fight from your non-fighters. And again, you go into halftime only down 8 points and only letting up 42 to one of the best offenses in the country.
And when you think about the way this game started and how poor Fordham looked on the offensive end, the way Penn State was taking advantage of their opportunities in transition, Fordham's almost entirely neutralized Penn State's transition game, forced them to work in half-court sets. The offense is heated up. Both sides enter halftime shooting over 50% from the field.
They've gone over 70% of their buckets in the last 10 minutes. It was 8 points through 10 minutes. They've gone over 70% of their points in the last 10 minutes. That just shows that Fordham, going into that 3-2 defense, they went back into a man for the last about 3 minutes or so, not letting Penn State get too used to that 3-2 set. But again, Fordham has a plethora of defensive sets that they love to run. That's the Keith Ergo experience. So you're hoping, if you're a Ram faithful, to remain in a good defensive set, remain calm, you're in a decent enough spot, maintain excellence, and try to come out of here with a win. Keep competing.
Jackie Johnson leads all scorers with 11 points. On the Penn State side, it's Zach Hicks with 10 points. Your score through one half, Penn State 42, Fordham 34. An 8-point lead for the Nittany Lions. We send it back to the Rose Hill Studios. Will Talent, Thomas Tisdale, the one-on-one halftime report.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Well, as our color commentator Chaz McAdams just said, Fordham is in a good enough spot
to do some damage and make some noise. Just trailing by 8 points. It was a lot sloppier than that out of the gates. Hard fought back and forth half for the Fordham Rams. The halftime score at the Sunshine Slam in Daytona Beach, Florida. The Penn State Nittany Lions 42, the Fordham Rams 34. How's it going, everybody? Will Talent with you alongside me, Thomas Tisdale. Welcome to the one-on-one halftime report. We have a lot to discuss in this first half of basketball as the Fordham Rams, they play down in Daytona, Florida. But before we get into all of that, Thomas Tisdale, he's got another scoreboard update for us.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
An incredible slate of games yesterday in the NFL. The New York Giants, led by Tommy DeVito, were dismantled by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by a score of 30-7. Former New Yorker Saquon Barkley had a giant game against the Rams last night, totaling more than 300 offense and 2 touchdowns by himself. The Eagles win 37-20. An absolute thriller between Dallas and Washington yesterday. 41 points scored in the fourth quarter, including 2 kickoff returns and an 86-yard touchdown with 21 seconds left. The Commanders lose their 3rd straight as they fall 34-26. A stunning near comeback in Chicago as the Bears, once down by 11 with 22 seconds left, sent it to overtime against the Vikings but fell short of the win. Minnesota improves to 9-2 and remains 1 game back at the Lions. We also saw the Chiefs nearly upset by the Panthers, and the Titans, despite their best efforts, pulled out the win against the Texans. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Thomas Tisdale.
Well, Thomas, thank you very much for that one-on-one scoreboard update. Let's talk some Fordham Rams basketball. The Sunshine Slam tournament down in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's the 5th annual of this kind of tournament down in Daytona. Fordham, they play Penn State today. They will face either Clemson or San Francisco tomorrow. But let's talk about today, Thomas. A little back and forth, a slow start for the Rams. They had a tough time containing the pace, as though it seemed that Penn State upholds. Penn State, a very fast start to their season. They're 5-0, an undefeated team, one of only 4 remaining teams in a very tough Big Ten conference, and they're playing some of their best basketball that they've seen in quite some time, averaging 98 points per game. They're the leading team scorer in the Big Ten. They can dish it out as well. They're second in assists, just a little bit under 20. They can grab those rebounds, too, with just about 40 per game, and on the offensive rebounding side of things, about 12 and a half. So lots of big numbers that Penn State throws out there, and those Rams, they did a very solid job, especially down the stretch, of containing the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, the question coming into the game was whether the Fordham offense was going to be able to keep up with the Penn State offense, but that really hasn't been an issue so far. Penn State scoring 42, which is, quite a large number of points at the half, but Fordham is still right there, and at the very end with the late surge there, Fordham got some key defensive stops, and they have the ability to go on little runs and bursts where Fordham can make this game a little bit tighter.
Well, let's talk about one of those runs for a second. Fordham trailing by 13. It looked really rough early on in this ball game. But then, with just about under 6 minutes to go, Fordham goes on a 12-3 run. As I said, trailed by 13, cut down that lead to that deficit, to just 6 with about 4 minutes and change remaining in the game. They're containing the Penn State deep ball. Very, very important, as Lou Orlando and Chaz McAdams were noting. This is a very good 3-point shooting team, and Penn State just 1 of 7 from deep today.
Yeah, the Fordham defense has made it a priority to stop the Penn State deep threat. And, you look at the offensive numbers, comparing them from Penn State to Fordham, I mean, they're nearly identical. Fordham's not particularly shooting the 3-ball well, but they have made 2 of 8. The field goal percentage, 54 to 50%, nearly identical. So you have to be absolutely thrilled if you're the Fordham head coach with the way the defense has been playing. It's been a physical game. They've committed 11 personal fouls, which is not ideal, but considering how physical this game has been, you can't be upset with that.
Now, another thing that they're doing very well, at least in my eyes and estimation, is that they're containing Ace Baldwin, one of the best players, as the guys were noting before the broadcast, and, of course, Fordham head coach Keith Ergo. He's got a lot of tape on Ace Baldwin. One of the best guards in the entire country. Did a lot of damage with Mike Rhodes, the head coach of Penn State when they were back at VCU. Ace Baldwin in his final year as a VCU Ram, A-10 Player of the Year, A-10 Defensive Player of the Year, comes over to Penn State with Mike Rhodes and is on the Big Ten first team all defense in his first year, and he's putting up incredible numbers once again. So far today, though, 4 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, kind of spreading the love. He likes to fill out the stat sheet. He always has. But one thing that he's done, though, Thomas, 4 turnovers. Penn State does not turn the ball over a ton, just about 11 turnovers per game. Now, I got to ask, how can the Rams continue to contain a guy like Ace Baldwin? Because you got to expect some adjustments from such a seasoned veteran and very, very talented point guard.
I mean, it wouldn't be shocking if Baldwin started being a little more selfish on the offensive end, but Fordham has done a great job making sure that Ace Baldwin is a pass-first, score-second type of guy in this first half. And so I want Fordham to continue doing what they're doing, playing physical defense against him and making him commit unforced errors.
Now, let's look at the Fordham side of the stat sheet now. Jackie Johnson III, the leading scorer with 11 points. Romad Dean having a very solid game in his own regard. 4 points and 6 rebounds, 5 of those being defensive rebounds. Jaffe Medor, 5 points of his own with 2 assists to go along with the steal. Fordham doing a nice job of spreading the love. Didn't really, as we keep saying, did not get off to the best of starts, but towards the middle of the half, towards the end of that first half, they really found another gear for themselves and have put themselves in a great position to stay in this game, stay within range, and who knows, maybe even get a shot at stealing a game against the big bad Nittany Lions, giving them their first loss. We'll have to wait and see. But Thomas, one more question for you, though. What do the Rams need to improve upon, specifically in the second half, to keep this one within that range and potentially maybe with a big steal W?
I mean, it's been a big issue throughout the entire season, and even last season, is the free throw percentage and being able to knock down points at the line. You know, Fordham has been getting to the line, and with the amount of with how physical the game has been, I expect them to nearly double their free throw attempts in the second half. So be able to knock those down is going to be huge. And then also just improving the rate at which they're knocking down the three-point attempts is going to be also massive with how this Fordham offense is going to operate, and then continuing to play very physical defense as they've been doing. And we can see the Fordham Rams go on a bit of a run to open up the second half, and, you know, this could be a tie ball game pretty soon.
It could be cliche, but you got to knock down those free throws. They're free points. That's why it's in the title. Fordham not doing such a great job of that so far this season, just 8 of 13 in this game. One thing that I want to see a little bit more of, more volume behind the three-point line. Just 2 of 8 right now, not a bad stat, but in their last game against Drexel, they shot pretty well from deep, a little bit over 46% in the first half. Then in the second half, that's kind of where the cookie started to crumble for the Rams. They went 2 of 13 from deep, ended up losing that game by 3. They can definitely put up the deep ball and have it go in, get some more volume behind the arc, find that open shot, make those free throws, and continue to force those turnovers from Ace Baldwin. There's a lot of basketball left in this game. Fordham, they trail Penn State in the Sunshine Slam in Daytona Beach by a score of 42-34. Hopefully, a good finish is brewing here for the Rams, but that's going to do it for the halftime report. We'll send it back to the studio we'll send it back to Daytona Beach with Lou Orlando and Chaz McAdams right after this quick promo update.
Hi, this is Ben Oppenheimer reminding you to tune in to New York's longest-running sports call-in show, One on One. Catch One on One live on the WFUV Sports YouTube channel every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We'll catch you next Saturday on One on One.
Hey guys, it's Will Richardson from Fordham Men's Basketball. You can catch all our games on 90.7 FM and the WFUV Sports YouTube page. And make sure to fill the hill this season as we celebrate 100 years in the Rose Hill Gym. WFUV is the home of Fordham basketball. Let's go Rams.
Back in the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach, Florida, one half in the books. Penn State leading the Fordham Rams, but the Fordham Rams battling. They battle at the end of that second half. They are down 8 going into half number 2. 42-34 is your score. The Fordham Rams team that 3-3 this season has suffered tough losses against Manhattan, a team they should have beat, Drexel in a game that they think they should have won. Well, this has not been a clean or perfect game by them for any means, and it's probably not one that they're going to come back to us and say, well, we played the complete 40, but they found a way to hang with a Penn State team that has not lost a game this season. Chaz, walk me through how they're in this game right now.
It was that 3-2 defensive switch by Coach Keith Ergo after the under-12 media timeout. The way that he was able to take away Penn State's ability to shoot, not by a tight man defense, but by a way that not only stops them from shooting, but also stops from a driving kick, right? So if you maintain that zone, even if you get blown by, you're not collapsing the defense, so you're not giving them the ability to shoot, which I think Penn State hasn't not been able to shoot the entire year. If you know, they've never had a challenge like this on their shooting. And again, I preached this all pregame, that if Fordham slowed the game down, there was going to be a very good chance that they were going to be in competition, which they are now. There's no way that the Fordham Rams would be in this game at all if they played full court transition, you know what I mean, just going back and forth as we saw them do versus a team like Manhattan. They did a lot of the same stuff versus Georgian court. A lot of adjustments made by Coach Keith Ergo. Something that I also want to harp on is the lack of rim protection, which is due to the absence of Abdou Timbila. He got 2 quick fouls before the under-16 media, but in the half, I think he's going to come back. Jaden Smith has been a bright spot on defense as well. His rim protection is something to be admired out of a freshman. Love a lot of what I'm seeing from the Fordham Rams. They are in this game. If they made their free throws, they'd be a lot more in it.
You look at the usage of the bigs through one half of play. Timbila, 5 minutes. Zona, 5 minutes. Jaden Smith, 3 minutes. They're leading forward right now. Jameer Tripp, 11 minutes, and that's someone that Coach Ergo came to us and said, we believe he can play 1 through 5. Fordham going with a little bit of a smaller lineup at times, sacrificing the size down low to have Tripp's athleticism and his scoring ability. And that final 5 at the end of half number 1 was Medor, Tripp, Rivera, Zach Riley, and Jackie Johnson III. Almost set for the start of second half. One thing I want to bring your attention to, and it was something Will Talon and Thomas Tisdale mentioned, Ace Baldwin Jr. only 4 points in the first half, 0 for 3 from the field. Comes into today averaging 16.4 points per game. That leads Penn State. And when Coach Ergo talked to us, he said their team runs through him. They live or die by how well he plays, and that's because he's able to do everything. Now, he's facilitated a bit. He has 5 assists. He hasn't been crazy active on the defensive end. That, to me, is the make or break in the second half. If Baldwin gets going, that could put the Fordham Rams out of contention in this game.
Absolutely, and you see this storyline so many times. The young, scrappy team comes in. They get a few lucky baskets at the end of the half, make it a single-digit game, and the better team just comes into the first half and steamrolls in the first 5 minutes, and it becomes not even a game. The next 5 minutes of this contest will decide the entire game.
Fordham trailing by 8, and it will be their starting 5 to start the second half. Jaffe Medor, Jackie Johnson III, Will Richardson, Ramad Dean, and the former Penn State Nittany Lion, Abdou Timbila. Only 5 minutes in the first half. He's back out to start the second half. For Penn State, the same starting 5 they had at the beginning of the game. Baldwin, Dillian, Hicks, Johnson, and Niederhauser. Zach Hicks leads them in scoring with 10. Puff Johnson, is right behind him with 9. And Penn State ball to start half number 2. Penn State in navy, Fordham in gray. Penn State working right to left. Here's Baldwin, drives on Johnson, spins around, and gets the shot to fall off glass. An early basket for the guy we just talked about, Ace Baldwin Jr.
Again, someone that can flip a switch and take a game over. Fordham faithful don't want to see that.
Johnson working quickly, the floater goes. And both teams leading scorers trade buckets to start half number 2. 44-36, opening 30 seconds.
Someone else we haven't seen a lot of,
Niederhauser picks up his dribble after Timbila gets a hand on it, kicks out to Dillian. DeLeon around a screen, drives on Dean, goes up and draws the foul. Freddie DeLeon, the fifth, going to the line. That's Ramon Dean, called for his second foul of the night.
And speaking of Ramon Dean, leading all rebounders on the night with 6. His athleticism has been everything for the Fordham Rams on the glass in the rare moments when they've controlled it.
Easy to forget, he was not a starter coming into the year last season. Ended up taking on a larger role, started 15 of Fordham's last 16 games, and has assumed a full-time starting role this season. DeLeon misses the first free throw, and Ramon Dean, similar to when we talk about Jameer Tripp, and he brings something that a lot of the other players on this team don't have. Very similar thing with Ramon Dean. His shooting ability, his rebounding, his athleticism, his hustle. He's a real key player for this team.
Yeah, in such a different way than Tripp, though, as Dean's more of a utility guy that you can rely on when you need to, and Tripp is creating his own offense. And in an Ergo system, you almost want to be the utility guy more.
DeLeon empty from the line, goes 0 for 2, and this Penn State lead stays at 8. But Baldwin Jr. steals the pass, going the other way, hangs in the air, can't get the shot to fall, but he's going back to the line.
Yeah, ill-timed pass there from Jaffe Medor. Baldwin reading that like a book and able to jump it really quick. He seemed to be turning into his second gear in this second half, knowing his team needs him to be the Energizer Bunny, put the battery in his back.
Ace Baldwin Jr. That'll be his first steal of the game, believe it or not. He gets himself to the line. Baldwin Jr., 2.7 steals last year. That was the most in the Big Ten since 1994. He sinks his first free throw. It's a 9-point lead. The second also goes, and Baldwin Jr. quickly up to 7 points. 3 points in the opening minute of the second half. Medor guarded tightly by DeLeon, dribbles in front of half court. Uses the Johnson screen. Back to Johnson off the pick and roll. To Dean, straight on 3. That one goes! Nothing but net. 46-39, the Penn State lead.
Utility guy, that's what I said.
Dean knocks down a 3 here in the opening minutes of half number 2. Johnson all alone for 3. Penn State answers. Trading buckets here to start half number 2. It's a 10-point lead for the Nittany Lions. Johnson up top. Guarded tightly on the right wing. Dribbles left, into the paint, up with the left hand, swatted away by Niederhauser. Hicks has the ball. He'll take it back the other way. Drives inside. Oh, a little up and under doesn't go. Niederhauser gets the rebound. His follow-up won't go, but draws the foul. And Penn State, this is the start you expected to see in the second half. They come out guns blazing.
Especially, you know they love to get up and down the court there. All around, just they're pushing the ball as much as they can. Niederhauser running the rim. He's hit the block every time, going back and forth, running 94 feet every possession. And now he's rewarded by going to the line for 2 free throws.
He's been to the line 31 times this season. That's a lot for a big. 61% from the line. This is his first. Penn State 0 for 3 from the line to start this second half. Jaden Smith checks in for Abdou Timbila. Ergo takes out his starting center. Just 2 minutes and 12 seconds into half number 2. Second from Niederhauser goes. Penn State ahead 50-39. Medor picks up his dribble behind the half-court line, ahead to Dean, hands off Richardson, back to Dean, fakes the 3, drives to Smith in the paint, can't handle the pass, turnover. Penn State to work the other way, Baldwin to the corner for Johnson. Johnson drives, feeds Niederhauser, poked away by Medor, stays here at Penn State. Here's the cut, and stolen by Johnson. 3-on-2 for the Rams, Richardson up to Dean, the slam. 50-41, the Nittany Lions lead. Fordham capitalizes on a steal and dunks in transition. Baldwin works quickly, lefty drive, no good. The jam by Niederhauser. Grabbed it off the rim and slammed it back in.
Again, just back and forth action here. Exciting basketball.
Well, after the slow starts for both of these offenses in the opening minutes of the first half, no slow starts to be seen here in the second half. This is Dean in the corner, fakes the three, drives on Puff Johnson, works back out. Medor into the paint, the righty floater goes. 52-43, Rams cut the lead back to 9. Jackie Johnson knocked to the ground, no foul. Puff Johnson, the lob. Can't connect with Niederhauser, foul call on the floor.
You got to make Niederhauser earn those. It was a 4-on-3 situation. Wide open lob, Puff to Niederhauser Jaffe. Not cutting the legs out flagrant-wise, not doing anything too much, but just enough to not get the easy bucket for the Nittany Lions.
That will be the third foul going against Jaffe Medor, who checks out along with Ramad Dean. Josh Rivera Jameer Tripp check in, 16-24 left in the second half. Penn State ahead 52-43. And Penn State the ball on the baseline after the foul by Medor. Baldwin, over the head pass to Hicks at the Ocean Center logo. Baldwin gets it back on the right wing. Drives, hops into the paint all alone, cut past 2 defenders, and gets the easy layup.
What a gather there from Ace Baldwin Jr.
Ace Baldwin Jr. highlighted at halftime. He's starting to heat up. Penn State ahead by 11 with 16 to play. Jackie Johnson doubled on the left wing. Swings it right for Jameer Tripp. Steps inside the three-point line, back to Smith. He'll take the three, no good. And the rebound secured by Baldwin. Ahead to Dunn. Penn State working quickly. Dunn has it poked away by Tripp. Johnson gets the steal, and Johnson's bumped in transition. Both sides playing with speed, playing with tempo, and both offenses working quickly here in the opening 4 minutes. It's Penn State the 11-point advantage with 15:42 left in the second half. Orlando, Chaz McAdams, Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. Hey everybody, it's Lou Orlando, one of your broadcasters for Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM. Treat yourselves this Thanksgiving. The Rams travel to Daytona Beach, Florida for the highly anticipated Sunshine Slam next week. So mark your calendars. Fordham bows Penn State on Monday, November 25th at 4 p.m. before facing the winner of Clemson and San Francisco in the afternoon on Tuesday, November 26th. Both games will be broadcast live on the WFUV Sports YouTube page. Don't miss 2 of the biggest matchups of the season. WFUV Sports is the home of Fordham basketball. Day 1 of the Sunshine Slam in Daytona Beach, Florida. Lou Orlando, Chaz McAdams, Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. The Rams on the beach side of the Sunshine Slam bracket. That's a pool that includes Clemson, San Francisco, and these 2 teams, Fordham and Penn State. If Fordham loses, it's a 1:30 p.m. game tomorrow. If they win, it's a 4 p.m. game tomorrow. The Rams currently losing by 11 to Penn State. 4 minutes into the second half, and Chaz, this game is being played to start the second half with a noticeable speed, noticeable tempo. The team is working in transition, and that is probably something that favors Penn State.
What did I say before the game, Lou Orlando? What did I say?
Slow it down.
You have to slow it down if you want to beat the Nittany Lions. They love playing fast. That's how they make you uncomfortable. You got to get yours right back and make them uncomfortable by slowing it down. You know how to not let them cross the half court in less than 2 seconds. It's by playing your press, how you've been. That's why Jackie Johnson's picking up Ace Baldwin Jr. 94 feet, is because they're not letting the Nittany Lions get into their breakneck pace. That was the tail of the second half of the first half. Those last 10 minutes was great. Different story in the opening 4 of the second half. Fordham, again, I think they got to retool and just look at the 10 minutes of basketball they just played and just replicate it.
And it's funny, a lot of what Fordham likes to do, the full court press, the moving in transition, a lot of that we heard Coach Ergo say is replicated in what Penn State has done and continues to do. He said it's the same exact system. What we do, that's what they do. Obviously, Penn State with some better athletes in the Power 5 able to do it a little bit better. So if you're Fordham, what do you need to do? You have to take them out of their element. That's what the 3-2 zone effectively did in the first half. Fordham ball, the inbound on the sideline in front of the Penn State bench. The 5 for the Rams, Richardson, Tripp, Rivera, Jaden Smith, and Jackie Johnson. Josh Rivera left elbow extended, Tripp posting up in the far corner. Turns around, uses the pivot foot, puts it off glass. Fordham back within 9.
Excellent footwork there from Brooklyn's finest.
Jameer Tripp has taken the step fans expected from freshman year to sophomore year. Returning from injury, double digits in his first 2 games. Feed to Niederhauser off the pick and roll. He's fouled by Jaden Smith. 7 foot going on 6'11", and Smith commits his first foul.
Attacking the ball there, Jaden Smith, again, his greenness, his age is showing here in only his 3rd, 4th game with real, genuine minutes. So Jaden Smith, again, coming off that great double-double versus Georgian Court. Some fantastic play from what we see from him. But again, you got to keep your arms up there. You know these refs are calling everything. Don't go for the ball. Go for the contest.
Niederhauser sinks the first, and that's got to be a scary pick and roll to see coming. Ace Baldwin and Niederhauser, that is not a combo you want to see if you're the Fordham defense. And it gets Niederhauser to the line. He sinks the first and is good on the second. 56-45, Penn State lead at 11. 15:08 to play. Will Richardson assuming point guard duties here. Jackie Johnson in the near corner. Comes up and gets the ball. Skips it left to Tripp. Gets it on the handoff. Johnson takes the mid-ranger. It's good. Nothing but net. Johnson makes good on the pull-up. 56-47, 14:50 to play.
Told you he's that 3-level scorer that he can go mid-range, 3-point, and at the rim.
Game high 15 points for the UNLV transfer, Jackie Johnson III. Here's Kern wide open. Reverse layup doesn't go, and Rivera pulls down the rebound. Oh, Kern was wide open there. Looked for the flashy lay and couldn't convert. Tripp jumps up for the ball in the post, puts it off glass, gets the rebound, and good on the second chance. Jameer Tripp heating up. Baldwin rushes across half court. Fordham back within 7. Jameer Tripp, 4 straight points. Here's Hicks, open on the left wing. It's good, rattles in. Gotta close out on Zach Hicks behind the arc. He makes good on the 3, 13 points for the senior from Camden.
You know Zach Hicks is going to hit those threes, especially if he's open.
Will Richardson collides with Ace Baldwin as he attempts to set the screen, and that is a pretty clear-cut offensive foul for the illegal screen.
Going for the dribble handoff exchange is repeated so many times in this Fordham offense. Isn't able to stop his momentum quick enough and just runs right into Kern Jr.
Baldwin controls the lead back out to 10 after the 3 from Hicks. Baldwin guarded by Johnson. Kern alone down low, fading away and makes the shot on the right block. 12-point lead for the Nittany Lions.
And that's the 3rd time in a row that left corner has been open after pick and roll action for the second pass. Baldwin's found it every time for Kern.
Wide open baseline cut. Add another assist on the leisure for Baldwin. Rivera drives left, loses the ball, and it will stay here with Fordham. Last touch inside by Penn State.
Difficult play here for Jaden Smith again. Minutes that he didn't expect to get because of quick foul trouble out of Abdou Timbila. Timbila checking back into the game though.
Jaden Smith comes out, Timbila back in. Tripp baseline inbound, Rivera left elbow extended, drives left, hops into the paint, up with the right hand, and draws the foul. No good on the shot. Josh Rivera going to the line. He's 0 for 2 today.
Nittany Lions foul charge to 24, Zach Hicks.
And a lot of issues between Mike Rhodes and the referee. I think the last 3 Fordham calls, the refs have had to re-explain why it was a pretty clear-cut foul. Josh Rivera going to the line. Redemption story?
Foul, something to watch in this first half. Fordham already with 6 at 13:22 to play. Rivera short on the first. That was Penn State's second, so Fordham right now not in a spot to capitalize off of the bonus the way they were in the first half.
And Fordham with 6, so Penn State definitely in that position that Fordham found themselves in.
Crowd quiets for Rivera, well short on the second. 0 for 4 on the day as Fordham continues to leave points at the line. Baldwin up top, fakes the pass right, fakes the pass inside, still controls. Now uses the screen, sends it down low for Kern. Kern fakes, kicks out Hicks. Wide open in the corner for Dunn. His 3, no good. The rebound goes over the head of Rivera. It stays here with Penn State. Fresh shot clock. Game clock ticks under 13. Hicks left elbow, bounce inside for Niederhauser. Reverse layup is good.
Great.
And Penn State continues to extend the lead.
Great spin move there from Niederhauser. Post work, footwork, and the touch off the glass.
63-49. The Nittany Lions ahead by 14. Their largest lead of the night. 12:41 left in the second half.
Some great play all around from the Fordham Rams so far. You know what I mean? And what I think is going to be the key to them winning this game is going to be to continue to leave them in the half court. You have to make sure the Nittany Lions don't get out on the fast break. They run 94 feet both ends. On offense, you can sprint as much as you want. Fordham's had a pretty easy job breaking the Penn State press. Fordham's press, again, not going with the traditional. They're not trapping in the corners like they have been all season, 3-3 so far in the year. Fordham just taking Jackie Johnson, Ace Baldwin one-on-one, making sure they eat as much shot clock as possible. Again, the looks that the Lions get late in the shot clock aren't the ones that they like. It's the ones at 20, 15, 12 that are the Zach Hicks threes, the Kern Jr. layups, the Niederhauser post fades. It's all those kinds of plays that happen early in the shot clock that is the reason that Penn State's been able to extend this lead. But if Fordham is just able to eat shot clock away from Penn State, they'll be in that 8-point cushion that they just had at the half.
Oh, Penn State on a 7-0 run. 21 points in the opening 7 minutes and 20 seconds of half number 2. To Fordham's credit, 15 points.
Yeah.
And not too far
behind.
It's
been back and forth.
But Penn State clearly finding openings in the defense that weren't there in the first half, and the pick and roll working to great success. You said it, the baseline cuts in the corner have been wide open. It feels like it's there every time if they want.
Yeah, I mean, it's Nick Kern has been, for lack of a better word, just like butt naked every time, just wide open with so much hardwood to work with. And just the way that Fordham has been defending has been up to snuff with what they did in the first half. I don't know what happened.
Fordham trailing by 14. That's Penn State's largest lead of the night. And when you talk about a Penn State team that has 5 different players averaging double figures, well, they've already got 4 in double figures. Niederhauser has 9, so they're getting awfully close to keeping that the status quo today.
Definitely. I think Niederhauser, again, we didn't see a lot of him in that first half because of early foul trouble. We didn't see a lot of Timbila either, but I think offensively, Penn State missed a lot of more action losing Niederhauser than Fordham does with Timbila.
Rivera to Medor at half court. Fordham in the offensive half court trailing by 14. Richardson up top. This is the Timbila screen, and Timbila called for the illegal screen.
Fordham just unable to catch a break. Unable to catch a break. Coach Keith Ergo beside himself, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to correct the mistakes made so far by his guys.
12 and a half to play, and Fordham are going to need to play the best basketball they've played all season. They want to hang with Penn State in the second half. That probably hasn't been the case so far in the opening 8 minutes of this half. Baldwin across. 10 points, 6 of them coming in this half. Baldwin drives, hangs short, and Rivera the rebound. Door across. It's the corner for Rivera. Back out to Dean. Swings left for Tripp. Corner for Richardson. His 3. Off the front of the iron, rebound Kern. Kern weaves in, finds a cutting Dunn. Strong in the layup, the ball tipped. Nearly secured by Niederhauser. Fordham pointing that they have it, and they do.
We get an official timeout.
It's an official timeout. It takes us to our under 12. Penn State 63, Fordham 49, 11:54 left to play. The under 12 media timeout, and with that, we'll send it back to the Rose Hill Studios. Thomas Tisdale, the one-on-one scoreboard update.
That's right.
I'm Chaz McAdams.
And I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
And we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, the flagship podcast of Fordham Athletics.
We'll be talking about everything from football at Moglia Stadium
to hoops at the historic Rose Hill Gym.
discussing the ins and outs of all Ram athletes, teams, and big games.
If you want to be part of the Ramily, then listen to On the Hill from WFUV Sports.
Lou Orlando, Chaz McAdams, Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. Day one of the Sunshine Slam, and depending on the result of this game and the game at 6:30, Fordham will either be playing San Francisco or Clemson tomorrow. It is a nice little gauntlet of a stretch here.
Yeah.
Drexel was no slouch on Friday at the Rose Hill Gym, and then obviously Penn State undefeated right now, one of the best teams in the Big Ten, and then Clemson and San Francisco, two top 100 teams in the KenPom. This is a somewhat of an important tournament for Penn State. Obviously undefeated, and it's been a strong start, one of the top offenses in the nation. But I think there's still some questions about whether or not they're legit. You look at the average opponent KenPom ranking so far, 246.6. They haven't played anyone inside the top 100. 3 of the 5 teams they've played are bottom 50 teams in the KenPom. That would be Binghamton, St. Francis, and UMBC. So I think Penn State has to show a little bit that they can do what they've done at the start of this season against the top-tier competition they're going to play in the Big Ten.
Yeah, the Big Ten also, as we saw last year, got a lot of bids, man, in the NCAA tournament. Joe Lunardi and the NCAA love some Big Ten basketball, especially you got USC. Oregon's been exciting. A lot of teams joining the Big Ten. Rutgers this year, a real contender as well. So the Big Ten is going to be more competitive than ever, and that's good for Penn State that they're hitting their biggest stride so far under the Rhodes era.
Now the Big Ten naturally has 18 teams. UCLA, Washington, Oregon joining the mix. Rivera left elbow extended. Fordham has the ball, trailing by 14. Here's Tripp curling out to the left wing. Also between the legs, step back, long two. It's short, and the rebound by Inza. 11.5 to play. The Penn State lead growing. There's Baldwin on the left wing. Richardson steps up to guard. Swipes at the ball. Baldwin jabs, uses the Enza screen. Rivera switches on. The left wing. Shovels back for Carter. To the corner for Baldwin. 9 on the shot clock. Baldwin tries to drive the baseline and draws the foul on Josh Rivera.
And again, I'm harping on the fact that you want to have these guys shoot as late in the shot clock as possible, and then you just don't get rewarded for your great defense by that foul there. A little hip-to-hip action, a little ticky-tack, but the refs have been calling it consistent all night.
And it's frustrating, but it is one that sends Baldwin to the floor. Josh Rivera has the size advantage. Baldwin will shoot 2.
And look at the foul discrepancy, 8-2 in favor of the Nittany Lions.
Penn State in the bonus.
Untenable.
Baldwin Jr. Baldwin Jr. 11 points today. Make it 12 at the line. Very, very quiet in the first half, but he is shy of a cannon here in the second half. Goes 2 for 2 from the line. It's a 65-49 lead. Penn State up by 16, their largest of the day. Medor carries across half court. Stops at the top of the key. Now drives in. Back to the basket. Pivot. Wild shot. Too strong off the backboard, but draws the foul. And Jaffe Medor to the line.
Attacking the rack there. You know, that's what you like to see. Those are the plays that are going to slowly build up and maybe get you back in this game, because you went from down 8 with all the momentum in the world to almost down 20 now, Lou Orlando, in the second half with 10:52 to go. And that kind of basketball is not tenable. So if you go to the line, and with this team, it has to be said, if you go to the line and if you convert those points at the line, those are the kinds of plays that are going to get you back into this game if you're ever going to get there.
Medora buries the first. 75% this season from the line. Led the team last year in free throws made and free throws attempted as the team's go-to scorer. Misses the second, rolls off the rim. So Fordham trails by 15 with 10:48 to play. Long pass into Puff Johnson, shovels to Baldwin Jr. in transition. Hangs with the left, it's no good, but it's tipped in by Kern. Fordham not holding their own on the defensive glass. As Penn State doubling them in offensive rebounds. Medora driving. Once again draws contact. That's Javin Carter that got all up in his business along the sideline.
You love the head cock there, you know, a little Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Jafre Medora there. You know, he's drawing the foul, doing anything he can to get some momentum back on the gray side.
That's the fourth on the Nittany Lions in this half. Rams trail by 17. Door in the left wing, into the corner for Rivera, all alone for 3, no good. And the rebound by Kern. Kern chased by Tripp and Richardson, some pressure here in the forecourt. To the hands of Baldwin, sends it back to Kern, hands off Carter. Penn State leads by 17, 10:05 to play. Baldwin cross court for Kern, fakes the 3, drives baseline, kicks corner for Puff Johnson, and that one goes. 70-50, Penn State leading by 20, firmly in control on this 14-1 run.
Yeah, Fordham definitely taking the time out here, take the time, but just exciting basketball being played by Penn State. This is the Penn State we know, scoring 30 points in 10 minutes versus the 40 they scored in 20 in that first half. This is that NCAA leading offense that we know and love from the Nittany Lions.
Taking firm control of this game, leading by 20. Johnson speeds ahead, dribbles off his foot, and draws the foul. I think that's one that Mike Rhodes might have a little bit of an issue with. Johnson lost the ball early there.
Yeah, the discrepancy again. We talked about it being 8-2. It's now up to only 3 deficit, 3 quick fouls drawn for the Fordham Rams.
Baseline inbound for Tripp. This is Medora left wing. Drives to the free throw line. Pulls up. It's an air ball. Tipped and secured by Kern. Contested shot with time on the shot clock, one that Ergo might not like. Kern driving in, finds the lane, and sinks the layup. 22-point lead for Penn State. Run continues. It's a 16-1 run. The past 5 minutes for Penn State. Fordham hasn't scored a field goal in their last 5 minutes. Tripp on the left wing, signals for a cut. 9 minutes left. Rivera drives baseline and slams it down. Draws the foul, going to the line. That's a big man jam for Josh Rivera.
Josh Rivera with the highlight slam, looking to CPR, a little resuscitation, bring some life back into the Fordham Rams. And an and-one dunk like that'll do that for you. Wow, look at Josh Rivera go.
It has been all Nittany Lions in this second half. They are in firm control. And the dunk only cuts the lead to 20. But that is a dunk that we've seen Josh Rivera make before. He's got a tendency to try and fire up this bench with those electric dunks. No one on this team can quite do it like him.
No, I mean, no one in the Atlantic 10 can quite jump like Josh Rivera. One of the freakiest athletes I've ever seen in my life.
And here's Rivera to the line. He's 0 for 4. And this one rolls in. Wasn't pretty, but it goes. 3-point play for Rivera and Fordham in the full court press. The pass left by Jameer Tripp. Off his fingertips out of bounds, going Penn State's way.
Great, again, and the press. The team looking energized. Some quick subs, too. You see Zach Riley, Abdu Timbila in as well. This Fordham team has not been put away yet.
9 minutes left. They trail by 19. So they'll need to work quickly. Pass into the corner for Dillion. Drives inside. Reverse layup. No good. Trip the rebound. Ahead to Rivera in transition. The slam once again. Back-to-back dunks by Josh Rivera.
Josh Rivera is an athlete. Oh my gosh. What fantastic play here. And he looks energized. He's ready to play some defense.
Rivera will pressure on the baseline inbound. Curran bounces. Riley gets a finger on it. Smothering Dillion. Across to Carter. Carter crosses half court with a pass to Johnson. Johnson shovels corner for Niederhauser. They'll slow things down here in the offensive half court. But Fordham feeling some momentum. Johnson pokes the ball away. Last touch by Javin Carter. Fordham ball. Turnover forced by the Rams. And the offense creating energy here on the defensive side, creating momentum for the Rams.
And Keith Ergo wants the foul there, and a timeout here for Penn State and Mike Rhodes. Not liking what he's seen from his guys so far. All momentum, all the time for the Fordham Rams. Again, it is the Energizer Bunny battery in his back. Spark plug, Josh Rivera looking to play his game his way, and that's why the Fordham Rams are in the position they're in.
Talk about plays that can energize a bench, and especially this bench, which harps on attitude and hustle. So what do they like? They like diving plays, they like full court pressure, but everyone likes a good emphatic dunk, and that's what Josh Rivera can bring to the table. Back-to-back emphatic dunks, up to 13 points on the day. It's still a strong Penn State lead at 72-55, but I think Fordham sees the window back in.
Absolutely. Rivera's 13 points on the day. Could be more, but he's 1 for 5 from the free throw line. And I believe he's 7 for 21 on the year. Only a 33% free throw shooter. So again, you have to put it in the bigger context of how much better could this team be. But you want to look at the silver lining. You want to look at the bright side. 17-point lead for the Nittany Lions, but all the momentum going Fordham's way. Fordham needs to capitalize right here and not show that they are dead.
Media timeout here at the Ocean Center. We'll send it back to the Rosehill Studios one-on-one scoreboard update with Thomas Tisdale.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Across the 5 boroughs, the Nets played last night against red-hot De'Aaron Fox and the Sacramento Kings. Cam Thomas led the way with 34 points, and Noah Clowney had 18 points off the bench as Brooklyn pulled away late to win 108-103. The Nets take on Golden State tonight at 10 in San Francisco. Coming off a disappointing loss to the Utah Jazz, the Knicks look to respond as they continue their Western road trip to face off against the Denver Nuggets. The key matchup tonight is MVP frontrunner Nikola Jokic against Karl Anthony Towns, whose status is a game-time decision. Tip-off is at 9. Both New York hockey teams are playing at home tonight. The Rangers host the St. Louis Blues tonight at 7 p.m., and the Islanders go head-to-head against the struggling Detroit Red Wings at UBS Arena at 7:30. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Thomas Tisdale.
.27 left to play here in the Ocean Center. Day 1 of the Sunshine Slam. The Rams looking to battle back, down by as much as 22 earlier in this one. 2 loud dunks by Josh Rivera have revitalized this Fordham defense and in turn the offensive end.
Yeah, I mean, they went for that traditional Fordham press as you saw with the trap in the corner. Fordham able to adjust on the fly. Keith Ergo has put so many different defensive schemes into these guys' heads, and they're ready to use them all at the drop of a hat.
Fordham trails by 17. 72-55 is the Penn State lead. Deep 3 from Jackie Johnson. It's too strong. A rebound by Dillion. Jackie Johnson 0 of 4 from 3 today. Rams are going to need some of those to fall if they want to crawl back into this one. Dillion gets the switch. He's doubled up top. It's stolen by Tripp. Tambila secures ahead to Rivera. In transition, Euro step, slips, and still makes the shot. Fordham will pressure. Outlet ahead to Hicks. Across half court to Kern. Racing up. Up and under is good. Gets it under the hand of Abdou Tambila. So the lead still at 17 for the Nittany Lions. 74-57, 7.5 to play. Johnson bounces to Rivera. Cross court to Tripp. Tripp will pull the 3. He made it, but he's out of bounds. And that is the 3rd straight game where Jameer Tripp has stepped out of bounds in the corner. tough break for a Fordham team that is 3 of 13 from behind the arc today. That one would have went and would have counted.
I mean, that would have been everything. You go from 17 to 14, that's a whole different ball game. As the clock starts to wind down, though, you have to look at all these every missed shot, every turnover, every blown opportunity as possibly game-losing.
Fordham double-teaming the freshman. He gets it ahead to Hicks. Bounces for Kern. Leaves it for Niederhauser. Misses at the rim. Gets the rebound back. Turning around, the reverse layup goes. Niederhauser, double digits on the night with 11. Penn State up by 19 with 7:05 left to play. For Fordham, the freshman Jaden Smith set to check in. 3 from Dean. No good off front iron. And Niederhauser takes the bump from Tim Bila.
And is that 5?
That will be 5 fouls for Abdu Timbila. Abdu Timbila in his revenge game against Penn State. No points, no rebounds. 5 fouls and 3 turnovers in 10 minutes of play. That is not the game you were really looking for there.
Oh my God, genuine gasp there, because you think of Abdu Timbila as such a cornerstone of this team. Again, just early foul trouble, struggling for the big fella there, but opportunity for Jaden Smith. Again, not a lot of Matt Zona play so far from Coach Keith Ergo, needing rim protection over offense, because again, you're going to win this game on defense as Penn State looks to go up by 20. You know what I mean? It's such a different mentality than 19. So Jaden Smith has to be the hero here and play some great paint defense for his squad.
1-and-1 for Niederhauser, no good. Dean gets the rebound. Next Fordham foul will put Penn State in the double bonus. Under 7 minutes left to play. Zach Riley and Jaden Smith checked in. Johnson up top. Bounces free throw line. Dean drives. Splits 2 defenders up with the right hand. It's no good. And the rebound secured by Penn State. It's the freshman Carter on the far side. Off a screen. Cuts in. The lob. And Niederhauser can't complete the slam, but foul on the way. 10th foul for Fordham in the half. And Niederhauser shooting 2 at the line.
And again, as these minutes keep ticking and down, the win for Fordham keeps going farther and farther out of grasp. You lose your starting center. You're unable to play your ACC transfer due to just needing more post defense out of Jaden Smith. It's the reality of the situation. And you have a guy like Niederhauser in the game who's just able to be a freak athlete, both ends of the ball, going for blocks, great rebounder, steals the ball when he can, great play all around, as Ryan Pettis checks in for Jackie Johnson III.
Talk about Niederhauser. Last 2 years he spent at NIU. That is not, you think about Penn State and some of the transfers they get. They get Tennessee, they get North Carolina, they get Temple. You don't really think of NIU. He was a starter there last year, and he's become the starting center for an undefeated Penn State team. Penn State ahead 77-57. Riley drives inside, kicks out Rivera. Fakes, steps back for 2. No good. Rebound tipped and ultimately secured by Kern. Penn State by 10. Kern cutting in. Can't slam it down. Went up with 2 hands. Had the opening. Just couldn't finish. Dean to the corner for Rivera. Back out for Pettis. Pettis kicks out for Dean. Zach Riley, open for mid-range, takes the shot and it rolls out. Niederhauser grabs the board. Carter hesitates, drives, stops at the block, now takes it back out. One-hand pass tipped by Ryan Pettis, staying here with 18 seconds on the shot clock.
Tough one, but you love to see the deflection there out of the freshman out of California, RP, making the most of his limited minutes.
Ryan Pettis, part of this freshman class that Coach Ergo has praised as one of the most mature groups he's had the pleasure of working with. California native, playing in his 5th game of the season. Josh Rivera checks out. Jameer Tripp back into the game. Hicks inbounds to Carter. 15 on the shot clock. Carter crosses half court. Pettis tight on him. Stays with him through a screen. Hicks off a screen, pulls the three. It goes. Zach Hicks, 16 points on the night. And Penn State up by 23 in the final 5 minutes. Riley up top. Double teamed. Looking for a pass. Finds Pettis right wing. Into the paint for Dean left. Layup is good.
You love the ball movement there from the Fordham Rams. Everyone getting a touch on that offensive play. Started by point guard Ryan Pettis.
Smooth passing and an athletic layup by Ramad Dean. Carter is stripped from behind by Pettis. Pettis.
Fordham foul charge to number 8, Ryan
Guilty of the foul.
After the blow-by, right? So Carter gets by him. You know, he gets beat, happens all the time. Pettis with a little contact. These refs are not letting anything get by. You know, and say what you want about my opinions on refs. I'll give them credit. They're calling it consistent. They're not letting anything get by. But I mean, just let the kids play.
I've never met a ref that you liked, to be fair. As Javin Carter goes to the line and misses. The first bounces twice off the rim and out.
And I think the Rams just really played themselves out of this one. You know what I mean? Early foul trouble for your starting center isn't very helpful, but again, just playing yourselves out of the game, not capitalizing off turnovers, and not making your offensive possessions count when you get them in the half court is what lost them this game.
Carter 0 of 2 from the line, now 1 of 5 on the season. 4:40 left to play. The Rams trail by 21. Pettis up top, across the trip. Triple drive. Smothered, fades away. With the right hand, it's no good. Dean tips it up. It's secured by Zach Riley. Back to Pettis, swings it down low for Dean. Left hand layup is good. Ramon Dean finishing inside. 13 points for him today.
Great pass from Ryan Pettis, too. You like to see him making the most of his minutes.
Confident play from the freshman, and Ramon Dean, 1 rebound shy of a double-double here. Dunn drives on Smith, blocked by the freshman.
And if you're looking for highlights from this Fordham team, if you're looking for a silver lining here at the Ocean Center, Ryan Pettis, Jaden Smith playing at a competitive level here against a Big Ten team.
Still Penn State ball, a high pass secured by Hicks. Across to Kern. Gives it back to Inza. Sets a screen for Kern. Kern drives up with the right hand, gets the shot, and draws the foul. Going to the line to complete the N1. How about Nick Kern Jr., 18 points, 13 rebounds, 8 of 10 from the field, and can add 1 more at the free throw line.
Kern, an absolute beast so far this game, picking up the slack that Baldwin Jr. gave him. Kern able to be a benefactor of a lot of Baldwin's assists and pick up a lot of the scoring slack that we didn't see from guys like Niederhauser when they were in foul trouble in the first half. He's made the most of his opportunity as the #1 scoring option on the floor for the Nittany Lions.
We'll close out the final 3:53 of this one here from Florida. Penn State just looking to close this one out, leading by 21. One last time, let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios. Thomas Tisdale has the one-on-one scoreboard update.
What's up, everyone? I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin. We're 2 of your hosts for NFL Friday, WFUV Sports' exclusive NFL podcast.
From breaking down the weekly slate to fantasy football pickups, we've got you covered on all things around the NFL.
Stay tuned for our hosts' weekly picks as they compete against each other all season long.
Football is here, and so is NFL Friday.
Final 4 minutes of play here from day 1 of the Sunshine Slam, and looking more and more like Fordham will have the 1:30 p.m. game tomorrow, as the loser of this game plays the loser of Clemson and San Francisco. And Fordham knew it was going to be an uphill battle going into this one. They face a Penn State team that is undefeated, #2 scoring offense in the nation, ranked 36th in the KenPom. That is a tough task for a Fordham Rams team that enters the season ranked 14th out of 15 teams in the A10. had a couple spurts here in the second half, but for the most part, it's been all Nittany Lions.
I mean, it's been Penn State in the second half looked like how we expected them to look in the first half. If it wasn't for Fordham's stifling defense, again, I think Penn State did what that narrative that always happens when that young, scrappy team starts to get some lucky buckets, starts to make a way for themselves, gets the lead down to single digits, and then the better team says, oh wait, we're better, and then just comes out swinging in the second half, and that's what happened.
And you see it all the time, you hear it all the time. Maybe not easy, but it's doable to stay with a greater opponent for one half. It's really hard to stick with a Power 5 team for the full 40 minutes. I think you see that on display. Fordham was able to cut this lead to single digits in the first half. You had a feeling the second half surge was coming by Penn State. You had a feeling Ace Baldwin wasn't going to have 4 points the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, what does Keith Ergo say? You got to play 40 minutes of basketball, right? And I don't think the Fordham Rams really executed on that at a high level.
And that's something that they're really still searching as we continue to progress through the early stages of this season. And it's something that Coach Ergo has said, well, we need to figure out ahead of A-10 play. A-10 play getting closer and closer. Kern misses the free throw. 82-61, Penn State ahead by 21. Ryan Pettis, the freshman, stays out there. Jaden Smith, the freshman, out there as well, alongside Dean, Riley, and Tripp. Pettis, top of the key. Drives to the elbow, kicks out for Dean, right elbow. Kicks out for Tripp, takes the open three, it goes! First three of the game for Jameer Tripp. For Jameer Tripp, that is 3 straight games to open the season in double figures. He had just 1 last year in 32 games.
You love what Jameer Tripp brings to the table on the offensive end. Got to make up for it on the defensive though on the Keith Ergo team.
It's the freshman Carter for Penn State on the left wing. Uses the Hicks screen. It's the right wing. 4 on the shot clock. Carter swings right for Kern. 2 on the shot clock. Throws it up. No good. Hicks grabs the offensive rebound. Kicks out for Carter. His 3 off right iron. And this time the rebound by Smith. 12 offensive rebounds for Penn State today. Just 5 for the Rams. Here's Jameer Tripp following the three-pointer. He's doubled off of the screen. Dean fakes, steps inside at the block. Kicks out for Pettis. His 3 is short. And the rebound by Carter. Final 2:25. Penn State ahead 82-64. Handoff for Dunn, top of the key, left wing for Kern. One of the 2 VCU transfers that Rhodes brought over. Kern cuts inside, finishes the layup. A 20-point game for Nick Kern Jr. It's been an impressive day for both VCU transfers that came over a season ago. Baldwin Jr. obviously the headliner, but Nick Kern 20 points today. To the top of the key, swings it right for Pettis. Corner for Dean, fakes, takes the 3, and no good. Rebound fought for by Zach Riley, able to save it, and Fordham one more chance. Tripp inside, hops, and extends with the right hand, makes the shot through 2 defenders. Jameer Tripp, travel, 13 points. No, they say travel, negate the basket. I tell you what, Jameer Tripp really has impressed. As Zach Hicks checks out, gets a standing O from the Penn State fans that have traveled here to Daytona Beach.
Will
Richardson and Rivera check in. Dean and Riley check off. And if that's the last we see of Vermont, Dean, 13 points, 9 rebounds, 1 shy of a double-double. But a strong outing. There's the freshman Stewart, weaves in, sends it left. Loses the handle, but keeps his Puff Johnson. He sets out top to Carter. Carter cuts inside. Can't make the shot over Jaden Smith. Will Richardson the rebound. Final minute, 18 seconds. Long pass ahead to Tripp. Back out to Richardson. Cross to Rivera. Rivera falls, but able to keep the ball with him. Kicks out Pettis. Pettis, left elbow extended. Turns around, back out to Tripp. Final minute to play. Tripp steps back. Long 2. Rolls out. Smith secures the offensive rebound. Now a foul. Smith tipped the rebound up and then fought for it. Puff Johnson, and Johnson called for the foul.
That's going to be Jane Smith shooting 2. again, a little bright spot for the Fordham Rams, a little silver lining on a gray cloud.
And perhaps Jaden Smith earning a bigger role here, as Matt Zona has not seen the floor in the second half. And obviously you've talked about game flow dictates a lot of that Jaden Smith in for his athleticism and his defense. Jaden Smith can't make the free throw on the 1-and-1.
Shooting 2.
He's shooting 2.
Oh, they called it a shot attempt when he went to go back up for it.
So a shooting foul sends Smith to the line. Jaden Smith now 6 of 11 from the line. Bends the knees, puts it up, and no good on that one, an 0 for 2 trip. Dominic Stewart across half court, final 52 seconds. Carter extends an arm and swings it back to Stewart on the right wing. There's Carter wheeling around, Stewart in the corner, dribbles off his foot, and a foul called on Jameer Tripp.
Tough one there for Jameer Tripp. That's his 3rd of the night again, has 39.2 left in the game. Interesting though, as we see Stewart going to the line, Fordham in a position, if Penn State goes scoreless here, to be the team that let Penn State score the least amount of points so far in the season on their 6-0 campaign.
Dominic Stewart, the freshman, to the line. Penn State at 84. He misses the first. Penn State has this one all but wrapped up. They will improve to 6-0. But it is a credit to the Fordham defense. This is a Penn State team that averages 98 points per game, and right now on the scoreboard, 84.
Yeah. 86 points Penn State was able to score versus Virginia Tech, and only 64 points able to be put up by the Hokies.
Stewart sinks the second of his 2 free throws. 85-66, the Penn State lead. One last possession for the Fordham Rams. Adore picks up his dribble, top of the key. His pass for Richardson, miscommunication, and slapped by Puff Johnson off the foot of Richardson. And one last possession for Penn State. We'll see if they put a shot up here. Seconds tick off as Fordham trailing by 19. Carter will dribble out in front of half court, and Penn State remains undefeated. Entered today one of 131 D1 teams undefeated, one of 29 with at least 5 wins and no losses, and they will improve to 6-0. There's the buzzer. Final score, Penn State 85, Fordham 66. And the star of the game for Penn State, Nick Kern Jr., a double-double, 20 points, 13 rebounds, 9 of 12 shooting, but it was all hands on deck for Penn State. 12 from Niederholler, 16 from Hicks, 20 from Kern, 12 from Baldwin, all hands on deck. 5 different players reached double digits, and Penn State exerting their will on a lesser opponent in the Fordham Rams.
I think a stat that we have to look at to indicate what happened in this game is the rebounding battle, 38-30. Knowing this Penn State game, really their only glowing red video game weak spot is when they lose the rebounding battle. They don't get as many of the possessions as they'd like, and so then it comes to them not having as many shots go up as they like, and then that's when they start to get uncomfortable. But when they win the rebounding battle, it's almost everything for them. They get as many possessions as they want, and that's when Penn State wins games.
Penn State completes a 19-point victory for the Fordham Rams on the Fordham side. Game high, or team high, 15 points by Jackie Johnson and Josh Rivera, but Fordham unable to hang with Penn State, and you can chalk up a 19-point loss to the Nittany Lions. That's not the end of the world. I think when we talk to Coach Ergo and this staff, they'll tell you that was far from their best outing of the season. A lot needs to improve for A-10 play.
Absolutely. I think there's no way that you can go into a strong Atlantic 10 while not executing your offense how you want to. You have to be firing on all cylinders just to compete in the Atlantic 10, let alone start to actually win some games, get some win streaks going, and keep your team alive. A lot to go over for the Fordham Rams.
Well, we've had Coach Ergo talk to us about the A-10 and how challenging it's going to be, that there is high major talent all throughout the conference. I think you look at someone like Ace Baldwin Jr., 3 years at VCU, transfers over to Penn State and becomes their best player and one of the best guards in the nation. That shows you the hidden talent, the hidden gems that are lying up and down this Atlantic 10 conference. And you look at the Drexels of the world, Penn State, either San Francisco or Clemson tomorrow. It's not crazy to think that some of those teams will be on the caliber of some of the teams that Fordham will play in the A-10 this year, and that's a scary thought for a Rams team that still has a lot to figure out.
Absolutely. Think about it like this. Think about how much little breathing room Fordham has today. You're still focused on non-conference, trying to build up some wins. You have less than 24 hours to prepare for a team that racked up one of the best win streaks in the ACC last year, one of the best coach offenses in the country, or a WCC team that is not to be messed with and might win the entire conference of one of the best mid-majors in the entire country. Those are your two options for tomorrow, Lou Orlando. So I think Coach Keith Ergo has a lot to go over with his team, a lot to talk about, but I think you have to be like short memory of a goldfish. Next man up, and you just got to go and see who you're playing tomorrow.
And it's a tough feeling right now, losing by 19 to Penn State, the fashion in which you did. You can change a lot of those vibes and turn around a lot of those feelings with a win tomorrow. If you go back home to the Bronx with one win in this 2-game tournament here in Florida, you'd be pretty proud of yourselves. But as we said, not going to be an easy task.
At all. I mean, Penn State is one of the best teams in the country. They improved to 6-0 today, but so are the two teams that we are about to watch warm up right now courtside here at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach. It's just a tall task all around for the Fordham Rams.
Well, the Sunshine Slam continues tomorrow with Fordham's loss today. They are locked into the 1:30 p.m. slot. They will face the loser of Clemson or San Francisco. Lou Orlando and Chaz McAdams will be right back with you tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 for day 2 of the Sunshine Slam. Wrapping things up from Florida, final score Penn State 85, Fordham 66. And we send it back to the Rose Hill Studios. Will Talent and Thomas Tisdale wrapping things up from the FUV Studios.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Well, a tough showing down the stretch for the Fordham Rams as they drop this first game of the Sunshine Slam, 85-66 at the hands of the Penn State Nittany Lions. How's it going, everybody? Will Talent here with you once again. Joined alongside me is Thomas Tisdale. A lot to unpack once again with this second half. Very much more so lackluster. Fordham, they actually started pretty well in this second half and very much so faltered all the way down the stretch. Penn State putting together a bunch of runs on their own, one in particular that we will talk about. But before we get into our post-game report, Thomas Tisdale, one more scoreboard update for us. What do we got, Thomas?
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Number 2, UConn climbed back from a 13-point deficit against Memphis to force overtime, but a costly technical by Coach Dan Hurley and a missed three-pointer at the buzzer means the Tigers win 99-97. Fordham Water Polo has continued the greatest story in college sports as they march to a 4th straight Mid-Atlantic Water Polo Championship with 3 lopsided wins. The Rams have earned a number 3 seed for the NCAA tournament and will face Long Beach State on December 6th. A battle of the Harbaughs tonight as the 7-4 Ravens travel to Inglewood to play the 7-3 Chargers on Monday Night Football. Max Verstappen clinched his 4th straight Drivers' Championship on Sunday following a P5 finish at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Formula One has agreed in principle with General Motors to add an 11th team to the grid in 2026. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Thomas Tisdale.
Thank you so much, Thomas. A lot going on in the world of sports, but let's talk about this Sunshine Slam. Once again, the final score, Penn State 85, Fordham 66. And Thomas, it was, like I said in the beginning, a pretty solid start for the Rams out of the gate in the 5th annual Sunshine Slam. But there was this one run in particular where Penn State just gets really, really hot. They led by 16 with under 11 minutes remaining after only leading by 8 at halftime. They went on a 7-0 run around that 13-minute mark, and that 7-0 run turned into a 16-1 run at the 9.5 mark.
Yeah, just brutal for the Fordham Ram offense. They started really well to start the second half, and, you thought maybe there's a chance that the Fordham defense can get some quality stops and then the Fordham offense can go on a bit of a run, but just the complete opposite happened. Fordham just couldn't generate any quality looks on offense. Only shooting 22% from three is just not going to cut it when you're playing a stellar opponent in Penn State, and then they just couldn't secure the rebounds on the defensive glass. They give up 12 offensive rebounds, and that's just not going to cut it.
Well, at least as we were talking about at the halftime report, the volume of three-pointers went up. I mean, it was only by 2, but as you said, Thomas, 22% is not going to get it done. On the flip side of that, Penn State only taking 7 attempts from deep, but 4 for 7. They got the job done when they needed. As we said, that 16-1 run was exactly what Penn State needed, propelled them to this victory. And Ace Baldwin, Fordham did a nice job of containing him in the first half. Second half, he started off really strong, 6 points on 2 of 3 shooting in the first 7 minutes. Got into some foul trouble towards the end. Didn't really play the latter half of the ball game. Was at 4 personal fouls, but finishes his game with 12 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. So really filling out that stat sheet. That's what he does. That's why he's renowned for being a premier guard in NCAA basketball. But I want to highlight the other man that came over with him and head coach Mike Rhodes from VCU, and that's Nick Kern. What a ball game for the big forward. 20 points, the leading scorer for the Nittany Lions, to go along with 13 rebounds, a nice double-double for himself.
Yeah, the focus for this Fordham defense was stopping Ace Baldwin Jr., but they just did not have an answer for Kern today. 9 for 12 shooting is just, you can't let that happen for the Fordham defense. And, part of that is the foul trouble with our 2 big men in Jaden Smith and Simbila, or however you say his name. My apologies. But there was just no answer for Kern down low. And, Penn State just feasted in the paint.
Well, speaking of the front court presence for the Rams, before we talk about them and wrap up our post-game show, big note, second chance points. That really killed the Rams today. Penn State outdueled the Rams 21-8 in second chance points. And as you were noting, Thomas, the rebounding, and as the guys at the end of the broadcast said, it was 38-30 in total rebounds with Penn State on top there, and 12 offensive rebounds to Fordham's 7. And that has to do with Abdou Timbila only playing 10 minutes, no rebounds, no points, didn't even take a shot, and he fouled out. That puts a lot of pressure on guys like Jalen Smith, who was in foul trouble in his own regard, and guys like Matt Zona trying to find his footing in his new setting here at Fordham. Really looking for that offensive game. Haven't quite seen it out of him yet. He goes 1 of 1 with 2 points, but not a single 3-point attempt. That's what he came in to do. And another thing that I want to mention here, Thomas, is the veteran presence on this team. Yes, they did have some good games all around. Jackie Johnson, he had 15 points, went 0 of 4 from 3, but 5 for 11, 5 from the field, 5 of 6 from the stripe. Ramad Dean, very nice game. I would say he was probably Fordham's player of the game. 13-9, 1 rebound shy of a double-double. And Josh Rivera, 15 points, 4 rebounds, a very nice, solid game. One name I really want to point out, though, is Will Richardson, the junior, out of Teaneck, New Jersey. Need to see a little bit more out of the Reaper on Rose Hill. We know what he's capable of doing. Just 3 assists, 1 rebound, no points, 0 for 2. Didn't take any attempts whatsoever. Didn't really have the ball in his hands. He played 23 minutes. And Thomas, this to me is just a little bit concerning. Only 7 games into the season, but just a little bit concerning. This is a guy that you want to have the ball in his hands and doing some damage with the ball.
Yeah, exactly. You want, in these kind of games, you want Will Richardson and Jackie Johnson to sort of take over and to lead this Fordham offense, especially when the Penn State offense is as explosive as it is. You need someone who's going to be able to keep up with Fordham, and Will Richardson, for whatever reason, just did not get the looks that he needed to today. Only taking 2 shots is not good enough, especially when in such an explosive and high-scoring game as it was today.
Well, albeit a good effort from the Fordham defense despite the score. This is a very high-leverage Penn State offense, as we were noting during the halftime report, and the guys at the end of the broadcast, they were saying Penn State, they average 98 points a game. Fordham, they hold the Nittany Lions to just 85. So you got to take some positives out of this game if you're the Fordham Rams and if you're Keith Ergo. It's a very tough opponent who's off to a very, very scorching start to their season. Keep your heads up high. You got another big game tomorrow. They will play either Clemson or San Francisco. Another massive game, a great opponent, good experience, good exposure for the Fordham Rams. Should be a lot of fun. The 5th annual Sunshine Slam tournament down in Daytona Beach, Florida. Lou Orlando and Chaz McAdams will once again have the call for you from Florida. But that is going to do it here in the Rose Hill Studios. Thank you to everyone that tuned in to the broadcast. Once again, the final score, Penn State 85, Fordham 66. The Rams, they'll be back in action tomorrow afternoon and match up against Clemson or San Francisco. For Lou Orlando and Chaz McAdams, our 2 broadcasters on site, our studio producer today was Trey Rodriguez, and our engineer and updates guy doing a little double duty was Thomas Tisdale. The sports director of WFUV is Bobby Chaffardini. For Thomas Tisdale, I'm Will Talent. Thank you all for tuning in to Fordham men's basketball production of WFUV Sports. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone.